movie podcast ever recorded, and today we're on a train heading up to the mining station. It's Ghosts of Mars. Let's go! Our first movie on Mars.
Dude.
There's a lot of movies on Mars, and we haven't done them yet.
Well, I was going to say, of the Mars movies of the early aughts.
Just start it off.
An asshole. You're just like the assholes. I try to get into town today, and I see a bunch of stupid horses not obeying traffic laws. And a bunch of is there a furry convention going around?
There's no furry convention.
They see a bunch of people.
Two F-bombs in the first minute has got to be some kind of record.
Got me some kind of record, Bob.
Yeah. We're on a horse.
You were
lights green. We're on a horse. People were going. I'm on a horse.
So you were mad about people riding horses in the road?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a road with cars.
It's a road.
Get out
There
of
was
here.
a parade. There was a parade that happened. It's Memorial Day today, this morning, as we record.
I don't give a crap.
I know you don't. That's what I love about you.
Get off the damn road. Get off the road.
So what we found out
Trying to
is
talk about Ghosts of Mars.
We got podcasts to do.
yeah.
Get these horses and cattle out of here.
So you're really just not a fan of equestrian festivities?
No.
Oh, okay.
That was the name of my band in 5th grade.
Equestrian festivities?
Yes.
They
Yes.
sucked.
Yeah.
They
were
sucked.
terrible.
Yeah, they were
That's
bad.
because we did mostly songs about horses.
Yeah. Get that horse shit out of here.
Very happy they were talking about a movie that's better than The Martian.
Ooh.
Shots fired.
Here we go.
But is it better than Red Planet?
Yes.
Dude,
Oh.
But is it better than Mars Attacks?
Yes.
there was literally right there on the cusp of the 21st century, you had Mission to Mars,
Yes.
Sucked.
Red Planet,
Sucked.
Yeah.
and Ghosts of Mars.
I know it was like a little moment here.
It was this moment of like Mars movies were all of a sudden supposed to be popular.
Who decided that?
I don't know.
Nobody. That's
But-
why they didn't work.
And like all three of them qualify for this show.
I know. They're all
And
awful.
if you look at like Mars in film, it's like before 2000, there were really no movies about Mars. Then there were all of a sudden 3. Then there were none until The Martian in 2015.
Nah, Martian Lives Matter, but I don't
Yeah.
care.
So, Total Recall, we haven't done yet.
Yeah, but that's a great movie.
Almost got selected for our Good Movies rule on Patreon, but
Yeah,
it lost out barely to Clue. So hoping next month, that they'll come back around and get Total Recall voted through.
Right.
That's the Mars movie I'd really like to talk about.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
get your ass to
Obviously not
Mars.
the remake.
No, God, the Colin Farrell remake?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Benny, screw you.
So, guys, thank you for listening. If you've never listened to Bad Movies Rule before, here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about Ghost of Mars, so we're getting to it. We'll get you all the vitals, who directed it, wrote it, the scores, the critics, how it qualifies for the show. And then we're going to go scene by scene through the movie, where we will then eventually get to some awards and then give our final determination. Is this actually a good movie, a bad movie, or a bad movie that rules? We're going to get this thing kicked off here. This movie was directed by John Carpenter.
Oh,
John Carpenter.
That was the guy that did that Disney movie, right? According to Mad Love.
Just don't
Wasn't
start
that-
with the John Carter bullcrap. I literally was in here writing out this outline going, oh, well, at least Madeline is not here to make the John Carter joke. And you did it in the first 5 minutes.
You're welcome.
F-bombs and John Carter's.
Awesome.
John Carter of Mars.
Yeah.
John Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars.
Yes, two different
very,
things.
Very different films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dick
Yeah.
Sargent, Sergeant York, that whole thing. No. So here's John Carpenter. Last we covered him on this show was Escape from LA, right?
Sure.
We did do They Live on Patreon, which was co-written. This movie was co-written by John Carpenter and Larry Sulkus, who co-wrote They Live with him.
Yeah.
So
That was the Roddy Piper movie,
yeah, that
right?
was the Roddy Piper movie. So same writing duo. Don't ask how that happened. But yeah, we haven't talked about a ton of John Carpenter. Well, no, Big Trouble in Little
And
China.
Big
we've
Trouble
covered.
in Little China.
Yeah, that as well.
Yeah, that was on BMR.
Yes, and you guys did Halloween on the horror reel on Patreon. So we've touched a lot of John Carpenter's movies here on the show.
I believe it.
But this is the end of his career.
This is his
Yes.
FU to Hollywood.
Yeah, this was his FU to That's a good way to put it, because he got sick of studio interference and he just said, I think I'm just done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got sick of the mind games and the political bullcrap.
Yeah, and even though maybe his last 2 movies weren't great, I mean, I like Escape from LA, but it didn't do well, and then followed up by this one. I think John Carpenter had enough, let's say, clout in the industry that he could have continued to go on and make movies and get funding and all that stuff.
He probably could have.
But he just didn't want to do it anymore.
So
Well,
this
even
was
in the-
his final movie?
He made a movie in 2010 that was like an indie film, I think.
Yeah, he made a movie called The Ward with Amber Heard
Yeah.
before she got depped.
Before Depp got heard, you mean?
Before Depp got heard.
Before someone pooped the bed?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you look at his career, he did have enough clout built from the 70s and the 80s. And a lot of people who are Carpenter's fans will kind of say, oh, yeah, the 70s and the 80s, John Carpenter.
Yeah.
And they'll completely disregard everything he
In
did
that voice, too.
after that. Yeah, probably.
Movie starred Ice Cube, back again since Anaconda was the last movie we had him in. Natasha Henstridge, Jason Statham. We only seem to do Jason Statham movies where he had hair. I don't know what that because between the one and Ghost of
We're
Mars,
getting a transporter. Don't worry.
it's just hair on his head, and I still can't deal with it. Pam Grier is also in this movie. Clea Duvall, who I always think of from The Faculty.
Yes.
Clea Duvall.
Yes.
Yeah.
She had a moment in the end of the 90s, early aughts, too, where she was in a ton of stuff.
Say it early on again. I'm going to disconnect your microphone and shove it up your ass.
All right, sorry.
Backwards.
The early 2000s. And Joanna Cassidy is in this movie, which we'll get to when we talk about her character. But
Related to David Cassidy.
for real?
No, I don't know.
Don't do that to me.
I'm sorry.
This guy.
Got me excited.
David Cassidy, I celebrate the man's entire catalog. The budget for this film, $28 million. The box office, $14 million. Womp womp. Not going to get it done.
Yikes.
Unfortunately.
This movie literally checks every single BMR box.
It does.
4.9 on IMDb.
Yeah, which tied with a movie we just did and just mentioned, Anaconda.
Yeah.
So 115.
Another Ice Cube movie.
Another Ice Cube movie. Both Ice Cube movies we've done are 4.9s. Tied for 115th out of our
That's
160 films we've covered.
Amazing.
Yeah.
After watching those two movies, I'm melting.
The rack him up, please. Red one. There we go.
Jackpot.
23% critic score
Shocker.
and a 25% audience score.
Brain dead.
So something that we don't usually see, the critics and audience in lockstep on their opinions on this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
You know, we can get the old Predator, hand clasp gif of the critics and the audience
On this
saying,
one, yeah.
Ghost of Mars sucks, and they're like, yes, we agree.
Yeah.
But Bob
Not as
doesn't.
much as their mother does on a Friday night.
He would know.
Are those? Is that a garlic breadstick in your mouth, or
What's that email again, Bob? To send you some hate mail?
I hate Bob BMR gmail.com, and no, I'm not going to be on your stupid podcast.
Okay. Bob has his own email address. If you want to shoot some hate mail his way, again, it's ihatebobbmr@gmail.com. If you want to reach out to our show, you can. As you heard, you've got mailbag segments and things like that. And so you can call the show, 262-757-8567. Leave us a voicemail. We'll answer those on our mailbags. Or you can email us at thisshowIstrash@gmail.com, and we will get back to you on our mailbag segments. Ask us anything you'd like. Tell us a story. Doesn't matter. We want to hear from you guys, so we appreciate that as well. And the other thing I'll say, just because we've mentioned a couple times on here already about the horror reel and good movies rule, is for those of you that don't know, we have other podcasts that we have exclusively on Patreon for our supporters. So if you'd like to be a supporter of the show and hear more shows where we talk about movies that are too highly rated to be on this one, we talk about horror films, we talk about cartoons. Kurt's got his own cartoon show, Cartoon Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Please. Then, like I said, the next one we're doing is Clue on Good Movies Rule, and we just have Tombstone about to come out for that as well. So all kinds of good stuff going on.
Yeah, we got Teen Titans Go to the Movies
Nice.
on Cartoon Clubhouse
And
next
you guys
month.
just did Futurama.
Futurama, yes, sir.
That was awesome.
And then we've had Ghostbusters, SpongeBob.
And I can't wait till you hit the big ones like He-Man. You did He-Man with Joe.
Yeah, we did.
Transformers, G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Thundercats.
Some good ones coming up.
Good. All right, guys. So in the meantime, let's pay the bills.
Let's go back to 2001, right?
Yeah.
Going back to 2001 to talk about a movie set in 2176.
It's always in the past, moving into the future with us.
Yeah.
Right?
Here we go. 2001. Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
All came out the same year.
Memento.
No one cares.
That's 3.
A Beautiful Mind.
4.
and Ghosts of Mars.
Great.
So top 5. So it should have been nominated for Best Picture.
Yes.
You're saying. It should have made the top 5.
I don't understand.
And it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, you got an opening announcement
I mean,
by
anything's
Keith.
better than Black Hawk Down.
Well, and you got
Black Hawk Down sucks. Can I be the one that says that? That movie sucks.
It's actually the 3rd best movie of all time, so you don't know what you're talking about.
It's not. It's garbage.
Never seen
It's complete, one of probably the greatest war film ever made.
Now, I haven't
Wow.
seen it since 2001, but I remember in 2001, 22-year-old me was like, this is boring. I was
Yeah.
bored out of my mind watching Black Hawk Down.
There's
But now-
literally a 45-minute action scene.
Yeah, you can't see it because it's a shaky
You
cam.
couldn't see
It's
it.
not shaky
Because
cam.
all you're staring at the ground.
There's
This guy,
literally no
this
shaky
dirt.
cam in the movie. This was before shaky cam
Yeah.
even came out. Anyway, Ghosts of Mars.
We get the opening text scroll of all the information we don't really need. 20 to 2176.
Dude, the
84% Earth's atmosphere.
Yeah, but isn't this Keith David announcing this?
Yes.
on top of like there's voiceover narration
Yeah.
and text scroll.
Yes, you're trying
How
to
do you-
read
You're
this.
trying to read and pay attention.
It's hard, dude.
It was hard.
640,000 people on Mars.
All 1% elites.
Hey, how rich do you got to be? I figured it'd be all rich people here.
I think that's what would
No,
happen.
they're literally drug addicts and criminals.
All the miners and things like that.
That's all it is. They're just
And Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Which is Mars seems like it'd be a dangerous place to live. I don't know who would sign up. I mean, I get Ice Cube because it's cold there and Ice Cube won't melt on Mars. But besides that, okay. Thank you. Besides that, I don't know who. Every time I see a movie set on Mars, I'm like, who would go here?
yeah.
Yeah, who's going to live there?
Purposely.
Who's going to decide and go, you know what? Yeah, I'm leaving Earth. I'm going on Mars.
Yeah.
Canadians.
I would
wanna-
go to Mars.
Oh yeah, eh? Let's go to Mars where we can't breathe the air, even though we've got like the most beautiful place in the world here.
Well, they're already used
Donuts
to the
and moose
cold.
meat, man.
Take off, eh? Go to Mars. Oh, okay. I'll see you there, buddy. That's why there's no Hortons up there. I don't understand. If it's all Canadians, it'd just be Martians, moose meat, hockey pucks, and what else?
cheese.
What other offensive
Maple
things can I say
syrup.
about
Maple
Bar
syrup.
syrup.
Maple syrup.
Rock syrup or red rock syrup or something.
Mike Harding's going to be thrilled that I did that. All right.
That's all right.
All right, so we get here. We're on Mars. It looks like your typical desolate Mars landscape. There's a city, and there's a train. The train to Mars. Somebody's like, we're going to Mars, and we're taking the train. And here they go. Down the tracks.
Sure,
The
train's
opening
going down
credits,
tracks,
train
right?
going down the tracks.
Felt like I was right back at Shiny
Riding the
Time
train.
Station with Thomas the Tank.
If it had pulled in the Mars station right next to Thomas.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
What's up?
Wait a minute. So you're
Welcome to Mars.
you're saying that you picked up on right away that it was a miniature.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
That was
do like-
totally it.
I laughed so hard when they cut back to the people like, sir, the train's in, the Marinara train is
Oh,
here. I was like, Marinara train?
Yeah, the Trans Alfredo 26 Rebel.
Trans Marinara 74 Yankee guys.
Oh, I was close.
Trans Marinara. Thank God they're here. We've had all these cheese sticks and no marinara sauce.
Is the train carbonara coming?
When's the Olive Garden breadstick train gonna get?
It's got all the free breadsticks and soup.
Can we get that here, please? Thank you. They find on the marinara train Ballard, Lieutenant
Did you almost
Mel.
say Mel Blanc?
I almost did.
Nice.
Lieutenant Mel Ballard.
Melanie Ballard.
Melanie Ballard,
Yes.
played by Natasha Henstridge, is knocked unconscious and handcuffed to a bed.
Yeah, she's used to that.
She
Bob.
and she's dragged before the tribunal, right? As
Yeah.
this happens in these kinds of movies, and they're like,
Yeah, the gray coats.
"What happened?
Who is this?
What happened to your team? Where's all the marinara
And
sauce?
she gets all. Where's the breadsticks?
There's not a drop of marinara."
Someone told me there would be soup.
Can anyone, for the love of God, just sit down and go, what happened?
Yes.
Everyone's dead.
That's it.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
Can I go to bed now?
Go to sleep. What do you want to know? I'm the only one sitting here.
Yeah.
There's no one else around.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Everyone else is dead. What
Well,
do you think happened?
obviously-
She's immediately got like a chip on her shoulder. She's like, well,
And she
do
seems
I get
to
a
have
lawyer?
a stupid hickey that doesn't heal.
It's just like, as you can tell by this perfect
line.
beautiful line cut on my neck, I was I was assaulted. And I was in a lot of, she comes out of this whole thing with just the tiniest little cut.
I was assaulted by a tree branch. I'm pressing charges.
Speaking of assaulted, did somebody bring the salted breadsticks?
the one guy in the tribunal after all this, they're like, we never found out about the marinara. I'd like to circle back to that. If we could circle back and touch base on marinara and where it is. I've just been waiting. I've got this whole plate of mozzarella sticks. They're cold. And I'm sorry about your friends, but I need to know where.
That sounds like a horrible story. But meanwhile, I got noodles over here sitting in water. And I can't put them together. They're going to get sticky.
Right. They're way past al dente. Okay. Can we figure out where the marinara? Who names their train? That's on John Carpenter.
Yeah,
it's the Red Planet.
Yeah. I was gonna say they just figured marinara sauce is red. The
red sauce,
perfect.
Red Planet,
red planet,
red train,
angry red. Yeah.
Was there another sci-fi movie that you found oddly similar in structure to Ghosts of Mars?
As in like Escape from L.A. or any of those movies, or what?
In the fact that there's a little movie called Aliens where she comes back and she faces a tribunal about what happened to her team, and she tries to tell them what happened, and they're like, whatever. Meanwhile, the flashback to them going to a place that seems empty, and all of a sudden,
it's not,
and things. And I'm like, I think I've seen this movie before, and it was way better. Okay. I got major Alien vibes from the way this movie was structured, plot-wise.
What's wrong with that?
But nothing when it's done well, because obviously that plot structure delivered one of the greatest movies of all time. Somehow this just didn't quite live up to. Are you trying to say this is as good as Aliens?
I'm wearing an Alien shirt.
Oh, look at you! I'm so perceptive. I didn't realize there was a
Carpenter
xenomorph.
Rip off Aliens? Is that what you're saying?
I think a lot of movies ripped off the structure of Aliens after Aliens came out.
Every movie's a rip off of a different movie. So what?
This is
John Carpenter ripped off his own movies for this movie. Because it's also Assault on Precinct 13 on Mars.
I'm not ripping on John Carpenter for this. I'm saying a lot of people did it. How many people ripped off John Carpenter after Halloween came out?
Yeah, that was a huge thing.
They all did it to him.
Tarantino doesn't rip off anybody.
And Tarantino's the only one that makes completely original. Oh my
Shots fired.
Oh.
Yes.
All right. So
I'm about to come out my body.
There's a ghost living inside Ryan right now.
He's like the guy.
Yeah.
Does he have any marinara sauce?
Ryan's turning into Big Daddy V.
Explosion!
I'm gonna start mutilating myself.
Whoa.
Well, I'm gonna shove this rod into my dick.
I'm surprised there wasn't more. I'm surprised there wasn't more genitalia mutilation in this movie.
I love being on podcasts with you guys.
Can we?
We haven't even got to the first.
I don't know. Let's move the ball down the field here.
Wow.
Get ready for some flashbacks in this movie. That's all I gotta say.
James loves flashbacks. And dissolving scream images.
And at some point, there's a flashback inside a flashback.
I know.
You're gonna love this,
dude. I was waiting for Ben Affleck's Batman to appear in The Nightmare.
I know. I'm like, how many dream sequences do we have? If there's a movie that's got 20 flashbacks like this one and 16 dream sequences, I don't think you'd ever see me again, because I think I would explode.
flashbacks within flashbacks.
Yes.
Some hallucinations along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen a woman orgasmically get rid of a spirit inside her body.
Oh, can't wait till we get to that.
That's something.
All right, so
That's how I was born.
Obligatory meet the crew scene where they're all on this train. Because again, this whole movie is framed, and she's telling the tribunal.
It's introduce yourself to the cast and the good guys, right?
Exactly. And so we see Jericho sitting here, and he's playing cards, and Jericho is played by Jason Statham.
Oi.
And he's like, I like poker, you know what I mean? And
how much do you wage?
he goes, I don't know, $5. And I was like, $5 in this Mars economy?
These Marsonomics? You got $5 to spare on me? You gonna give me gas money?
Hold on. If $5 is already worthless, this is in 2176. That's
Good
like
luck.
betting a nickel.
That's probably literally what. Yeah, in that Martian economy, that's
what
all
I'm
they
saying,
had.
man.
Dude, Joe Biden's doing good in 2146.
His brain is still alive in a jar somewhere.
It's like Futurama. His head's like in a glass case.
Talking about my dad went to Mars when I was a kid.
Look at that, Joey. That's love.
Wow.
That's love, Joey. When you see two horses
outta
licking
here.
each other, that's love.
You saw two horses today. You didn't feel love.
No, I felt
No,
rage.
anger.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Melanie, we'll just call her Mel because Mel's not
That's
here.
fine.
It won't be confusing. But Mel has a Percocet Pez dispenser for a necklace,
Yeah. With some sweet TV on it. I don't know.
boing, boing, like right into her mouth.
I was like, is this liquid television? What is
Popping.
going on right now?
Yeah, I couldn't tell if that necklace did that or if she just got high and that's what it looked like.
I don't know. It did it like later on in the.
Yeah, after she popped another one.
Yeah, and it did it again, but this time she wasn't looking at it. It was like it was
Yeah.
just hanging at her side.
Maybe it just does it.
I'm going to say that it was just her being high because you saw the other technology in the movie.
Yeah.
They didn't even have iPads.
They had nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
That we have now.
Pam Grier is also there, and she's the leader of
She's
the.
hot.
Yeah.
Not in this movie.
Commander.
No, she's hot. She's
In sometimes, yeah. No, sometimes she is. I don't know. She left that at home that day or something. Like she just didn't pack it when she went to Mars. She's like, I don't know. Should I take anything with me that?
Makes me hot.
Yeah.
Nope.
I'm not going to continue down this line of thinking. Anyway, Pam Grier is there. And she gets to deliver the expo. We're going to pick up Desolation Williams,
Snake
who
Plissken.
definitely isn't Snake Plissken.
Who Sandy King Carpenter keeps on trying to crush.
I was just going to say, it's kind of funny how Sandy King was like, no, Ghost of Mars was not supposed to be the third Escape movie.
Yeah.
Yet,
When were you sucking John Carpenter's dick to even say that?
I was going to say that like John Carpenter literally had said at one point, yeah, it's like
started
supposed to
off
be
that way.
this started off as the third Escape movie.
I mean, they got the
Snake
same clothes
Plissken
on.
Escape from Earth.
Sleeveless.
He
black
does have
tee,
the same
Yeah.
clothes.
the
as
leather
Plissken.
jacket.
Tell
Yeah.
me,
The camo.
I was going to say the
pants
orange camo pants, the sleeveless black shirt.
Yep.
and the jacket.
If they'd had an eye patch on Cube, that I would have just been like, hey, wait a second.
That's literally all they needed was to put an eye patch on Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Desolation, but put it over the other eye.
Desolation. Yeah, but it's it's over the left eye, guys.
So it's not Snake.
not Snake.
It's not Snake.
Obviously not Snake.
Now it's Nick Fury.
Pam Grier comes up to Mel and she's like, "You good?" Rubbing her shoulder. I need you to be straight. And
What?
She's like, "I'm as straight as they come," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "I don't feel like we're talking about the same thing."
Do you like carpet or do you like popsicles?
Because I don't think when Pam Grier says, "I need you to be straight," I think she needs you to be the exact opposite of straight.
You know what I don't like is popsicles on my carpet.
No. Not.
It gets sticky and
It stains the carpet.
It does.
it does.
I'm not cleaning that up.
Ryan knows about it.
They get to the mining outpost town.
Yeah.
They get off the train.
Shining Time Station.
Shining Time Station.
I
was
enjoyed
literally-
the miniatures.
You know
all
what?
right, I
You know
just
what?
like this is great. It's the John Carpenter.
That's funny
film.
that you say it was literally called Shining Canyon.
Tiny little magical beings come out of the train. I just needed to cut back to like a regular size astronaut at one point, looking down at these mini people and being like, "What's going on down there?
What were they making?
The heck?" We found many people, sir.
They just did, if they did like stop motion, like
Yes.
in Shiny Time Station, where they just have to cut to moving the action figures.
Right. We found tiny people out here, sir. We finally found alien life.
Yeah, and you know what? To
They
second
look like
that,
they're trapped in the early 2000s.
I love the miniatures too. Yeah.
What year are they trapped in, soldier?
the early 2000s.
That
I didn't.
son
I
of a
didn't
bitch.
say it. That time it was him.
It's 2176, guys.
Oh, I got flip flopped.
All right. They get there to the mining town. They get halfway into town before anyone notices that it's desolate. Right? They're like, hold on a second. This is usually a hopping place, and they kind of cut back to the.
Yeah, they're just walking all casually down the thing, like, oh yeah,
Right down Main Street.
More just expo dumping along the way,
Yeah.
and then it's all of a sudden, wait a minute, there's nobody here, and then here's another like little like, what is it like a flat? It's not a flashback, but
The
like
police, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
yeah, and Melanie's like, yeah, what, this place should be jumping,
Right.
yeah, and then it like has this little brief dissolve of like, oh, it should be popping, and there's
Yeah.
like this little crappy model car that drives by, and yeah.
Yeah, and so they end up splitting off, and so Melanie and Jason Statham's character Jericho split off on their own, and they're searching again. This is the beginning of Aliens, where they're looking around. There's nobody there. They find like a bloody crime scene, but nobody's there yet to be able
Well, they go
to
to
tell
the-
what's
yeah,
going
so,
on.
like,
You're
they
talking
go to
about
the
like
jail.
down the hallway with the arm that's like
the arm that screams at them.
yeah, it opens up. Ah!
Did you know anybody else hear that?
Yeah.
They walk in past, all of a sudden, "Ah!" and then there's just a hand, and I'm
It
like,
goes the soundtrack.
is there a person in there? They open
I
the.
think it was just the sound.
It was a soundtrack, but it
Okay,
wasn't
but why
edited
was it
right
an audible scream?
I don't know.
Because they open the locker and the hand just falls out, and I'm like, that's incredible. That hand just screamed.
And there's her walking down this hallway. There's like weird, like like scissors and
like these
knife
ornaments
and
stuff.
glasses are all
Ornaments made out of barbed wire and screws.
Yeah.
And no matter what kind of gross, weird, nasty crap is going on, Statham is never not trying to rizz up Natasha Henstridge.
Oh, the whole time he's
the
like,
entire thing.
I want to be inside you.
Know what I mean?
You know, I want to stick.
They could be in the middle of a gunfight. You got a nice ass, you know what I'm saying?
You know, spot a dick.
That's right, ain't it? Yeah.
Well, she even makes a comment about that. She's like, "You never give up, do you?"
Like, he never. The whole. It doesn't matter what's happening. He looks her up and down every time she walks past him.
Yep.
It's true.
Every scene.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He never stops.
Yeah.
those ornaments remind me of it. The whole ornaments thing where just like the scissors and everything just looked like a Hot Topic Christmas party.
It did though. Dude, this movie and Hot Topic would have gone together like
I'm
peanut
sure
butter
they do
and jelly.
have some Ghost of Mars
sure they do.
merch somewhere deep down in the dungeon.
And then Statham, after the hand screams at them, comes in with the deadpan. It's not making me happy.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I'm going to go check to see if they have a car. We can drive out of here. Me behind the wheel. We'll get your panties wet.
No, I mean.
It's so weird in this movie too, because there's like, you know, they're wearing the goggles through the whole thing, but then there's like this breathing mask thing.
Oh
that
yeah,
the breathers.
They hit their vape and then they're all happy.
And
they
I'm
can
like,
breathe.
so wait, the technology's there so that you can breathe in space, but we're still wearing goggles.
Yeah,
and-
because she said there's 10 years until it's like Earth's atmosphere, but it's like 84% of the way there.
So then, how do bullets work
Yeah, I don't know.
in space?
look,
That's a great point.
if we're gonna get into the science of
here
this
we go.
movie,
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
Let's not do it because that's a whole thing.
How would Quentin Tarantino do it?
that.
Everybody got that?
Okay.
Wow, that's a bleep on Ryan. Jeez.
Wow.
Yikes.
All right. Ryan, I thought you'd love this.
Yes.
It's just a shot. A door opens, and it's just a shot of Statham and Natasha Henstridge, and all they do is take 9 steps down a hallway,
And they
there's
cross dissolve 3 times.
there's 3
His
transitions.
traps are getting muscular. He is so tense.
I thought of you immediately. I'm like, why is there 3 transitions for them to walk 6 steps?
Cross dissolve. This movie has so many cross dissolves.
Yes.
It's a Rick T.
It's-
There's a
Foster
couple
wet dream.
slide transitions
Yes!
or swipe transitions.
Yeah, the old school swipe transitions.
Yeah.
Man.
Only Star Wars is able to get away with that.
Where they edit
Literally
away
only
during
Star Wars can
where
get
they-
away with that.
where they do the cross whatever you
Across
just
the
said.
screen.
Yeah, the cross wipe.
While they're talking.
Yes.
So they don't even finish their line
Yeah.
of dialogue
Yeah, yeah.
as the thing is editing them.
but all they've edited out is essentially 1 step. That's how far they move.
Yeah, they do that later on too when they're
Right.
talking to Ice Cube.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they're like, "All right, we need to work out the things." And
it's
then
a
swipe.
thing.
Yeah.
It is a motif in this movie.
Yeah, that's great.
and
Right.
It is the worst part of the movie.
Is John Carpenter sitting in the editing bay with Zedder going, look, I don't give a damn what it takes. You get them down that hallway 1 second faster
we gotta
than they are.
we
right
gotta
now.
increase the pace of this movie.
I thought
is
you were going to say
ridiculous.
he wanted to see swipes. I don't care what happens, but I want swipes, just like Star Wars.
I'll tell you, the swipes would
Cut
have been more.
scenes out. I don't care.
Or do you remember? Do you remember
Swipe
like
this
the
damn movie.
Do you remember like the like blinds?
Oh, yes.
transition
Yes, the blinds transition.
that the Star
I have
Wars-
expected the star transition to come out.
Yeah.
The star comes back in. And
Like the PowerPoint.
Let's do all the old school editing, the default transitions that come with your editing software.
They should have.
Let's use them
They
all.
should
So
have.
shortly after this, you hear Barf go,
The clock
nice
one."
dissolve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Dissolve. All right.
And then there's another scream as
Yes.
Descanso comes around the corner.
Yes.
Yeah. And now we get a flashback back to the flash forward, back to a flashback into a hypothetical flashback.
Well, we get to see Pam Grier's team's perspective on the original,
Yeah.
what they end up finding in their thing.
In the rec fact.
And this is where she says it couldn't have been Williams because he's been locked up this whole time. Right?
So like Pam Grier and her rookies go to the rec fac.
Yeah.
And the door opens and there's just bodies hung upside down,
Heads and
decapitated.
Right.
And Clea Duvall's just standing there like, I don't know what to do. And
Right.
Yeah.
And you dialed that performance in.
There's
That was
nothing
it.
to do.
That was
They're
it.
dead already.
They're already dead.
The rest of the movie, that's how dialed in she is.
And speaking of
Is she related to any of the Duvalls or something?
she must be a
I don't think
Duvall.
so.
I haven't looked
I don't
into
know.
it,
Yeah.
but
Good question.
it's a weird name to have in Hollywood if you're not.
Sure,
guessing.
just like Barrymore.
Right, exactly. So, speaking of the weird thing with the technology in this movie, so here they're like, all right, we have a camera that's looking into the cell so we can see that there is Williams still in his cell.
Yes.
Desolation Williams, it couldn't have been him. He was still locked up.
Right.
Well, how could we check if that's true? Where are the freaking security cameras? There's no security cameras. They go and check a paper log. They pull out a binder.
Literally, Pam Grier, or what? Yeah, Commander Braddock, and Mel are like, "What can we do?" Yeah, well, we see Desolation on camera. Oh yeah, Sergeant's log, and they start just flipping through like an accountant book.
Right.
Yeah.
This is 2176, and they got carbon paper in there with the pink and the yellow copies behind it.
I don't know,
They're
guy.
checking it like that.
Maybe, to be fair, they probably just don't have the infrastructure.
Don't have for a camera.
Well, it's only a colony.
It's
if you think
2176.
this is what I equate it to.
My phone has a camera.
This is what I equate it to, though. It's like when we first came to the New World in 1613, right?
Is this happening
And
right
it
now?
took
Tell me a story.
It took 400 years to just develop the infrastructure
Yes.
of America.
But we didn't
right?
come from a place that
I'm just
already
saying.
had that stuff. If we had come from a place that had all those things, we would have brought it with us.
Maybe they didn't have enough resources to bring it with them.
Okay, guys, leave all the technology, leave the phones, leave everything that's super helpful. We're going to go up to Mars with some sticks and some concrete, and we're going to build it like it's 1875.
Except for the trains.
So bring the trains and the marinara sauce. We'll have that delivered separately, okay? Because
Extra
we might not
garlic
have
knots.
cameras. And where are they getting paper from? Mars trees. They brought that with them.
Martian paper?
They brought they brought with great expense. They imported
Great
paper.
expense.
You see,
Okay.
if Christopher Nolan was directing this, he would pull the paper out of a rock.
We found Mars rocks
Found Mars rocks
full of paper
full of paper.
and 3-hole punches.
You never want to get 3-hole punched from
No.
Statham.
No, you don't. You
You're
punch it through
done.
all 3 of your holes. That's terrible. And it's so fast, you don't even know what order it
Yeah,
happened.
you're
You're
just
like,
You're down, you're bleeding, you don't know from which orifice.
all right, they go to the prison. They go to the prisoners because there's other prisoners besides Desolation Williams in there.
They're
There's like
detainees.
detainees, whatever.
One's a go-go dancer.
Just like it.
One's from the land of Oz.
we meet Whitlock, and I was like, where do I know her from?
Joanne Cassidy.
Yes, she's the girl that went to Catalina Island with Eddie Valiant in Roger Rabbit.
That's awesome.
That's her.
Oh, wow.
But I couldn't tell because she had like short blonde hair in this, and obviously the long brown hair in Roger Rabbit. But that's who that is.
Oh, wow. Yes.
It's the girl from Roger Rabbit.
The bartender.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
I couldn't believe it. It took me like halfway through the movie before I was like, I did the Leo DiCaprio thing and pointed at the screen. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
I was like, I
That's
know who that
awesome.
is. That's her. She's asleep, and she tells her backstory about how she floated in on a hot air balloon.
The hot air balloon segment.
This is a little
Hot air balloon on Mars, people.
John Carpenter moment that I appreciate because it would have been so less expensive to just have her get there literally any other way. But he's like, no, let's have her ride a balloon in.
Yeah.
Right? So we can blow up a balloon and have that cost $10 million or whatever it
That was a
is.
Have it hit
sick-ass
by a
explosion.
fan.
I'm not going to lie.
Saying she rides it right into a windmill.
Yeah.
The funny thing is about that is like the amount of explosions that came out of that hot air balloon.
It's
And
ridiculous.
she unharmed at all from the explosion.
If they could have lost $2 million out of their budget just by cutting the balloon.
I don't know. That balloon was a miniature.
But still,
It probably cost like $5.
they had to do the effects.
To blow it up.
They had to do the effects, the explosion, the rendering, her spliced into it, all that stuff. Well, she could have just rode in on like a Mars horse. You know what I'm saying?
What does a Mars horse look like?
It's
red.
a horse, but it's red, Bobs. Try and keep up with me.
Yes.
Everybody got that?
Okay?
Good. I got it. So, red horse.
Honestly, it probably was
I'll
supposed to
follow
be.
with them.
It probably was supposed to be those wings from Escape from L.A.
Oh.
Probably,
the
but
same
then they were like, we
technology.
can't have any crossover since it's not an escape movie. So let's give her a weather balloon instead.
According to Sandy King, and it's not an escape movie.
Right.
It never was. I know
Sandy.
because I sleep with Carpenter.
Because she's
Oh, good for you.
That's because you got wood.
Hit him up.
I'm terrible at this. I'm just going to put this in my hand.
Oh, you're fine. All right. So they go. All right. So Desolation Williams. It's all right. I don't want to call him Desolation Jones, but that's not his name.
Dun, 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 dun. What? Desolation Jones.
Wow.
Wow, wow.
He's not talking.
No. You imagine. Hey, y'all! Will Smith!
Keep your. Never mind.
Yeah. So because Desolation isn't answering her, Sergeant, or not Sergeant, Lieutenant, doesn't matter. Mel,
yeah.
Mel calls him an asshole and leaves. And Jericho, there's this really weird sequence. She goes, that took some balls. You know, he just killed 6 guys. And she goes, yeah, and this is 8 inches. Guys love to exaggerate. And I'm like, whoa. Just went straight at his dick size.
Yeah.
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 That's what women do.
They basically undermined him.
And then Statham in that says the fanciest. This is the fanciest way I've ever seen somebody called a hoe in my life. Tells him that he has something that a penis connoisseur like herself would really enjoy. And I was like, what is happening in this
He's like,
scene?
well, it's about the size of a breadstick.
They had to haul it in on a train.
That's what the last 3 cots were.
It helped me climb. It helped me climb the great clock tower. Clock towers.
Everybody got that?
Cock tower.
They start to find some tweakers around, which I was calling them that before I knew what was happening, but just some people like tweaking out. There's one in the closet, right? That kind of falls out of the closet.
Oh, yeah. She's a cop, and they disarm
Yeah.
her.
I mean,
It's a dispatcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a little down the line, but yeah.
Out in the yard, there is a vehicle that's got its hazards on. They find a guy inside that who seems to also be tweaking, and he's saying something. He's mouthing some of them, saying, don't come in here. And he kills himself in front of them.
Which is the great camera work of the camera panning out of the person in a
Yes.
red glow
Yes.
and then turning and looking at everybody.
Yeah, like the POV
But
of...
nobody else can see it.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
And we don't even know what that is yet.
No.
Or why.
We don't know what it is, but yeah, here we see it.
She still tries to get in the car, even though the guy was like, don't open this door.
Yeah.
Pam Grier does.
Pam Grier does.
Pam Grier runs around, tries to blow the lock open.
Right.
And Melanie calls for Jericho to come there, and then
Yeah.
Pam Grier goes running off into the mountains or something, right?
Yeah, she like
And Jericho
following
follows,
somebody
yeah.
or sees somebody.
And then we get another flashback to what literally just happened.
Almost. So
Yes.
first she goes back to jail.
No, I'm talking about in the scene where she's like, but before he died, he said something. And
Oh,
then it,
that's
like-
right,
And then
yes.
it like cross dissolves back to like the scene that just took place 30 seconds
30
beforehand.
seconds before.
And it's like, he said something. Stay away. Don't open the door. Stay away.
Yeah, it was heck.
And it's like, all right,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Because it just happened. Well, you shouldn't have to flashback to something.
We literally
that
flash back to
like
something that just
parody movies do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They have a flashback to something that just happened. As a joke.
as a joke, right?
So Mel goes back to the jail, and when she gets back there, Desolation is out of his cell and has Clea at gunpoint.
Knife point.
Knife point, thank you. At knife point up in her jugular here.
Yeah.
I'm just like, freaking rookies. Like, he said he was hungry. I brought him some muffins or whatever it was, a stupid reason.
I'll tell you, Clea sucks as a rookie.
Yeah.
Bashira Kincaid.
Yeah.
Good God, what a terrible cop.
Is that her name? I just been calling her Clea.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still going to call her. That's a way too hard of a name to say.
Bashira?
Bashir. You can call her that if you want
Bashira
to.
Kincaid.
I'm lazy.
Bashir.
Yeah, Bashira Kincaid.
Yeah, she
is her
sucks.
name.
They both suck. Her and no name
dude.
rookie guy.
No, Descanso?
Descanso.
Michael Descanso is badass.
No, he sucked.
He did not suck at all.
What? All right. Are we going to have a 10-minute argument about whether or not Descanso was a crappy cop?
is awesome.
Why?
He does have an awesome death.
We're
We'll get to
not
that.
getting there yet, but we're
all
going
right.
to get to why
All right.
Descanso is awesome.
Okay.
He at least
Fair enough.
knows his shit.
All right, so you're saying it was Beersheba's Barsheba? What's her freaking name?
Bashira.
Bashira.
Kincaid.
Barsheba
It was
Like-
her fault.
let him out because he was hungry.
Descanso literally says that. He's like pointing the gun and he's like, Bashir let him out for some food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody
And
told me there
Melanie's
was some
just like,
pasta.
Oh, we have plenty of marinara. We have a whole train full of
a
it.
train of marinara that just left.
Just come dive in and drink it up.
Just swim around in it like DuckTales, like he's just swimming through coins.
Mel negotiates a switch and takes her place as the hostage.
Oh,
And then-
yeah. She says, take me, not the rookie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's a very talented, in the movie, her character is a good
Noble.
at hand-to-hand fighting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Melanie Ballard.
And so, so she is almost able to disarm him and take him out, but he ends up knocking her out. Okay. And it flashes to she wakes up. Oh yeah, he took off for the clinic. Okay, Clea tells her that, or Bathaba or whatever her name is.
A bit anticlimactic as well.
Yeah, Basham.
What's that?
Basham.
Well, just the way like she gets knocked out, and then it's this weird like you just see her coming to, and then like everybody just let him go.
Yeah, the other two rookies. Were just
like nobody stopped him at all.
Bye.
And then she's waking up like, oh, I was just in a nice little slumber. Like
the way that she comes to is pretty,
like you could have like woken up a little bit more jarring, or
it's another problem with the cross dissolves.
Her acting is terrible in this movie.
Who?
But it's Carpenter's fault. Natasha Henstridge, especially in the flashback sequences. So whenever they cut back to the tribunal and she's like telling what's happening, it's so flat and terrible.
The whole tribunal is flat.
It's awful.
The head, Rosemary Forsyth, who's the head of the tribunal, the Inquisitor, as they credit her as, same thing. As she's just like looking around the table, like,
so apparently it was Carpenter's fault, and he took blame for it.
Oh yeah,
he goes, look, I could have directed her better, especially in those tribunal scenes, but there was a basketball game I wanted to see, and I wanted to get out of there.
That's awesome. What a G. That's great.
I'm not kidding. He was just trying to get through the shot.
That's hilarious.
So that he could get to his freaking basketball game that he wanted to watch.
That literally goes to show how much, that shows you how much Carpenter did not give a shit at this point in his career.
On set, he just said, this is the worst movie you ever make, just to keep people's morale up. Just said, have fun with it.
Yeah. So he was, I think, trying to lean into the nonsense of it. But
he did. He leaned full into the nonsense.
He also was like, he was upset that she caught so much crap for her crappy performance. He was trying to say it was my fault. Like, I could have directed her better.
You know, the other thing too, she came in at the last minute because Melanie Ballard was actually supposed to be played by Courtney Love.
Oh, good Lord.
Someone ran over Courtney Love's foot.
Yeah.
She couldn't do it.
So then she like broke her foot or something.
Let's thank that guy.
And then it was like,
guys, you are a great citizen for running over that wonderful lady's foot.
Could you imagine?
And
if this had been Courtney Love, sorry, go ahead.
Like if this were a Courtney Love film,
how could it's worse? It's less than a 4.9. I guarantee you.
Oh yeah,
Natasha Henstridge was also mentally and physically exhausted because she just did 6 other movies in that 1 year.
Right.
So
she did a lot.
Like John Carpenter, there's a scene where she's actually crying, and he's like, "I think she's on the verge of a breakdown." So they shut down production for a week for her to get her.
She had a moment in the 90s where she was very sought after. Man, it made a lot of fun.
Well, Species.
Species.
And then
gorgeous. She's a gorgeous woman.
The guy that plays Descanso, Liam Waite, that's her husband.
Oh, yeah.
So he was actually already cast in the movie, and then he said to John Carpenter, he's like, well, how about my wife?
Yeah, because they lost Courtney Love.
Because they lost Courtney Love. She also just had a baby, too, by the way. So Liam Waite and Natasha Henstridge had just had a baby. Natasha did, like you said, she was just sought after and just in movie after movie in the late 90s, early 2000s there.
Right.
Yeah. So, it was a big thing for her there.
Crazy. So Mel and the rookies run to the clinic to try and catch up with Desolation, and they find a bunch more tweakers like on these cots and gurneys and stuff. And I go, why is there a clinic right next to like a boiler and all these like cisterns and all this stuff? It's just kind of a weird like setup. They basically just use the same. They just redressed the same set 100 different times.
It's a mining town on Mars. They don't have the infrastructure.
Do you know a lot of the interiors and all that stuff reminded me of Mass Effect 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, when they go into where they go get the doctor, Salt? Yes, that whole area.
100%.
Yeah, that's what it already.
Such a great pull. We'll take
a lot of the atmosphere around it that reminded me of that.
To tell our listeners that play Mass Effect if you have not played Mass Effect.
Yes, absolutely.
Greatest game series of all time. All right.
a lot of John Carpenter feels in Mass Effect, especially in Mass Effect 2.
These tweakers finally start to go crazy, and they've got like crap pierced in through their face and stuff. And
we get a nice close-up of the one who's like growling and blood's just coming through her teeth.
Yeah.
And she's poking herself with some sharpened metal.
And it cuts to Mel just looking at her like, that's weird.
Dude, I think I know sells that. She's like,
she literally looks at it and says, hey. And that's the only line of dialogue.
Wow. Riveting.
The things finally start to attack her, and Desolation comes in and saves her life. Okay. Saves her life, but she's such a hardcore cop, it doesn't matter. You're still under arrest.
Beats this dude with the shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see a lot of that, actually.
a lot of shotgun beating.
then they bring him back to the lockdown area.
Well, Tweaker Girl attacks him, and then she just blows her away.
That's what I'm saying. He saved her from all the tweakers. Yeah,
he saved her from one tweaker, then she saves him from the other
that's right.
tweaker.
Thank you.
She just blows her away, though.
Right.
Yeah, so now they're like even.
This is her first time in which she just shoots some completely unarmed civilian.
Right, and nobody gets infected.
She
wasn't
unarmed.
Yeah, she is.
She was crazy.
She had weapons in her face.
She had, Oh, hold on one second. Stop right there. I know you're psychotic right now. And you're possessed by an ancient demon. Can you stop right there so I read you Miranda rights so I don't get canceled?
Tell the crazy Martian to lay down and place its hands behind its head.
Yeah.
Crazy Martian is not consenting.
Crazy
Martian responded with a rhetorical remark. I don't understand this gibberish.
Repeat the phrase and say it or else.
No,
Crazy Martian.
That's
lay down
what you wanted her to do.
on the ground.
I'm telling you the opposite. I'm saying that I love the fact that this movie is just like, screw it, let's just shoot him.
Yes.
Okay.
So one of the last great things you can do.
It is one of the last great things.
You can't do those in movies anymore.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Let's have a conversation.
She just literally was
I
just
know
like,
you just
screw it,
butchered
shoot
25 babies and screwed a beagle, but I want to understand your story.
Right. That's how it would have been in 2021.
It was a horrible Peanuts episode.
I mean, it's garbage. Bad guys do bad guys. Bad guys get Dirty Harry. He shoots the guy in the damn face. Yeah. Hold on. Do you see Dirty Harry stop?
No, Woodstock, no.
I want to understand you.
Our birds' heads are falling off.
Dirty Harry doesn't want to understand shit. You hijacked a school bus full of children.
Right.
Your ass is dead.
That's right. That's right. I'm here for it, Bob. I'm with you.
I think everyone at this table is with it.
Man. All right. Let's go. He has a flashback when he gets back to the jail, Desolation, about how he got there. And it's basically him also discovering all these decapitated people and just being like, oh, a bag of money.
Again, flashback and a flashback.
Let me just snatch that money up. But I didn't kill nobody, right?
That's right.
And this is what he's, but she's like, well, I believe you, but you're
And
still.
you just took the money?
That's what he says. I didn't say I was innocent. I just said I didn't kill nobody.
Right.
Yeah.
But she's still not going to let him go. Now we get the flashback to Jericho chasing a girl who's carrying a head, and there's like this row of pikes with all these heads on it.
Oh, yeah.
Jericho's chasing after this girl, doesn't shoot her.
And we get that hard rock score picking up.
She pikes this head, and then when she leaves, again, without getting shot, he goes up and it's Pam Grier's head.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
And we have found out that Commander Braddock has been decapitated.
Off screen.
Yeah.
Off screen kill.
At least now they know what's at stake. Oh.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Jericho crests over the hill, and we see the cult for the first time.
Yeah, the Marilyn Manson concert.
The Marilyn Manson concert. They're all like going crazy, and then they're
the super sweet close up of the hands holding the bosom of one lady.
Yes.
Those patients with the rocket
Then we get the cult leader stands before his people and says,
In translation, kill all Teletubbies!
I died laughing every time I heard this guy talk.
There's just There's a guy in the back that's like,
Come on. Come on.
Dude, he sounded ridiculous.
He did sound ridiculous.
But
He's up there. Dude, this dude's jacked. Like you said, looks like Marilyn Manson. He's got this whatever handmade scythe that he's rolling around. He's like,
as cool and tough as he looks, it's ruined the minute he opens his mouth.
No, and then he's just chopping people's heads off.
But where are they finding these people? Where are they finding these people?
I love when it pans and
Where
there's
are
just the
these people
Swedish
coming
chef
from?
is sitting there.
They're the miners.
But like, where were these people? I don't understand. Like, where were these civilians that haven't been turned?
They were the miners.
Okay,
But they were all turned, I thought.
That's what I
they
thought.
say that in another flashback.
Oh, I can't keep track of 47 flashbacks.
You're
I'm too busy listening to.
It's a completely different flashback.
Run over me with lawnmowers.
This guy sounds like if the Ultimate Warrior had something like a prosthetic in his mouth, like, or if he had the headgear from Braces. That's what he sounds like.
He sounds.
That's what he sounds like.
He sounds like he's very mad.
No.
That's what happens when you mix pixie sticks with Ultimate Warrior.
And then Jericho picks up his walkie talkie. We got a situation here, right?
Yeah.
This is really crazy.
I'm sorry, you can't come in. What
So
was that?
this whole montage of these minor, well, who, you know, like you said, it's the big cult following now. These primal people with facial mutilations and all this handmade weaponry, decapitating people. Yeah, Jericho just runs back down the hill like, we got a problem.
Looks like a stand in the Los Angeles Raiders game.
It did look like the stands of a
I love that line from Naked Gun 33
Yes.
1/3. Looks like I'm at the stand of a Los Angeles Raiders game.
Dude,
It cuts
love
back to the jail. Whitlock is there with her head in her hands. We woke up the puddle monsters. It's what she's right. You know, on Earth, there's monsters in puddles, and then they dry up, but they don't die. They
Their
stay
organisms
there,
fly in the air.
fly in the air, and they took him on the wind. It's just ridiculous. The tweaker from the closet snaps and is killed, and then
This was the dispatch officer, who now creeps out of the closet, has facial mutilations, starts to attack the group. Bashira, stupid rookie, brings out a glow stick to try to stun her, which clearly does not work. And then once again, Melanie Ballard just blows this unarmed person away.
You are really on the unarmed crap.
Because it's awesome.
Oh, okay.
And we see the POV.
Why do you think I'm... Oh,
And now that we at least know...
I love it. Like, she's just like... Poof, 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 like, unloads a freaking 9 into this chick. I'm like, yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, and tell your cult friends what happened.
Yeah. Screw your cult friends,
You
too.
took my last of paper clips, you bitch.
Then we finally, now that at least we know what it is, because we know about the puddle monsters thanks to Whitlock. When the POV shot of the whatever it is comes out of the dead person and it goes into the other old prisoner.
Because Whitlock,
through his ear.
You kind of you get your red POV camera.
Why is this
swinging again? And Whitlock, and it's like,
and then he gets the worst case of eczema I've ever seen.
He's
trying to turn
this
into
poor guy.
You just scratch it.
That's why you say you don't pick it, you let it heal.
Oh my god! I like how it just picks and chooses where it wants to go.
Oh, I know. It's like
fine.
this one, no. Oh, old guy.
Old guy.
This guy.
Yeah, because it misses like the one girl, and she like walks away, and he's like, "Oh, I missed you. I
This
was
thing
going
goes
for
past
you."
Clea Duvall so many times.
Yeah.
Nobody wants her.
Nobody wants her.
Gosh,
Not even the alien in faculty wanted her.
All right, so
I'm kidding. I like
it cuts
Clea
back
Duvall.
to no, it doesn't cut back. All of a sudden, Jericho shows up with 3 randos that we've never seen before in our lives, and Mel's like, "Who are these guys?" Well, let me tell you who these guys are. Let's have another flashback where he's now running over the hill from the cult. You think the cult's following him specifically, but apparently they're not. They're right behind him when they crest the hill.
Well,
he's not.
yeah.
He's not 50 feet away.
I know.
And he's trying to kick a door in, and it's loud as frick. Boom.
Yes.
Boom. Cultist.
Nothing.
Nothing. No idea.
Oh, they
Nobody knows.
just the one that kind of looks over her shoulder and stops for a second and looks at the mine shaft.
Is that Jason Statham?
Is that Jason Statham?
Does he have hair? That's weird.
No. That guy had hair. Couldn't
But
have been
then
him.
these other 3 survivors are hiding in the shed, and so they open the door for
Right.
Statham.
And this is where they explain that this red dust came down the mountain.
Yes. They have a flashback.
Yeah, so now it's a flashback within... Wait, so Melanie...
We're 4 deep at this point.
Hold on, I was going to say, because Melanie's telling the story, so that's the first flashback.
Yeah.
Jericho's telling a story to Melanie, so that's the flashback within the flashback.
Yes.
And now David Duane, now he's telling the story of what happened at the mountain. So
Yeah.
we're
4 deep.
We're 4 deep.
This is flashback within a flashback within a flashback.
Tribunal.
Yeah.
Current time of him coming in the door with the 3 guys.
Yeah.
Flashback to him trying to get in, kick in that door.
And then,
And then their
Dude.
flashback of the red mist
freaking 4 deep.
We're 4 deep.
Wow.
on this freaking flashback right here.
That's
it's
amazing.
insane.
This movie should have been called 47 Flashback.
Forget Inception.
I was
okay?
just going to say, it's like they're literally in the 4th level of Inception.
Right. So time has stopped at this point.
It's raw, unfiltered, subconscious.
I still understood, and I understood Ghost of Mars better than Inception.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's funny. But yes, this is where they say that, like, these three guys, more or less, they're
Saw the original mist come down.
These
and
three
take them
guys are
over.
like, we're gonna sneak in to shift change and get some food and get some money. But this red dust storm comes
Right.
down the mountain, and they're just like, all right, let's go back to the mine shaft. But then he
Right.
goes back out, and this is where they say, like, yeah, some of them changed, some of them didn't, and they started acting funny, and the ones
Right.
who didn't change, they started cutting their faces off.
It's
like, all right,
crazy,
well,
dude.
so shit got real.
He's like, all right, so you guys got guns? No, we don't have guns. We're just common miners. We don't know
Lobo
nothing about no
Sebastian.
guns.
Only cops can have guns.
That's right.
Yeah, only cops are allowed to have guns.
We do have these detonators that, but they're not super useful on their own. Well, we'll bring them with anyway. Anyway, they all get back and we find out that not only do they all have guns, every single one of them have multiple guns, but they're there to break out Desolation Williams. They're his friends.
Uno, Dos, and Trace.
Yeah, that's their eventual names.
Do you ever notice throughout the entire movie, Ice Cube's fro grows and shrinks?
It does a little bit.
I am
Yes.
thinking about the rage that he's going through. High rage, high fro, low rage, low fro.
It's an indicator. It's an indicator like a bar in a video game where you got like,
Yeah.
or like in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh,
he would get fatter or skinnier,
Fatter or skinnier.
whatever, and
Yes.
so
Remember
they-
how jack you can get in that game?
had those muffins. Yes,
They had those muffins.
and that's why.
Yeah.
I love this. This is like the second standoff now in the movie.
Yeah, Statham says to him, he's like, "We should all stick together." Know what I mean?
Right. We need them. They need us.
Right. And they're like, "No, we're not sticking together. Bring us in the freaking room."
Dude's just like, who you calling scumbag, motherfucker?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, this is where they're all arguing, right?
They're all arguing.
Because she basically like wants to take them in still, but like not give them guns. But then
Right.
he's like, "We want guns," and she's like, "Well, I can't trust you because you're technically bad
They're
guys."
going back and forth.
Did it not make you laugh?
It made me laugh when what happens is they go in the cell.
Yes.
Okay, so there's the cell. There's Desolation Williams. Mel hits a button on the wall. Cell opens. Then all three of his friends go in there to like dap him up in the cell. And I'm watching this with a friend, and he goes, "That'd be hilarious if they just hit the button again." And then she just hits the button again and locks all of them in. I died laughing. I couldn't believe it.
All four of them in unison.
I thought you were watching the door.
You were watching the door.
I was.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. It was hysterical.
Yeah, and meanwhile they still have guns. So
Yes.
then he points the gun at her and is like, "Open the door." She was like, "You shoot me, you're still stuck in there."
You're never gonna get out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? And this is where
Cops.
she's like,
The cops and criminals working
talks
together.
them into joining. Like you come out, we let you out. You put yourselves under my command. You follow my orders. We get out of here together. All right, girl, but I'll cut your titties off.
Yeah, why do you have to go right for the titties? What's wrong with you, man? Were you not loved? Did you not get the boob when you're
She
young?
just freaking throat chops him, puts him in an arm bar.
Yes, that was hilarious.
Ah, yes.
Makes him say uncle.
Makes it. He does. Who's in charge here?
You are. You are.
You and me, I'm sorry, Bobby.
chop my titties off now?
That's right.
Man.
And this is where they all start building hand grenades out of canned peaches.
Oh,
Yeah.
but the even better, what are their names? Uno, Dos,
and
Tres.
Yes.
Easy peasy.
Uno, Dos, Trace.
And
one of them is like a crack addict.
yeah, Dos, he cuts his own damn thumb off
Because
Yeah.
because he's trying to mac on the stripper that was locked in a cell.
he's hitting this like crack vape.
Yeah.
It's a laugher.
It's a laugher. It's
a
like
laugher.
got nitrous mixed in with the air.
85% nitrous mix.
Slices his own thumb off.
That'll get you high.
He's gonna be all right though.
He's a dumbass.
It's not laugher, it's slow-mo.
I got it. All right. So they're going to make we got to get to this. They're making their final dash to the train station. They're all getting ready to walk out the door. They got all their canned peach grenades and their guns and all that stuff. And they're
Yeah,
like,
fruit
all right.
cocktail.
You played Far Cry. You know how hard it is to
yeah.
make handcrafted grenades.
Oh, yeah. He goes, all right, 50 meters to the train station. They are going to walk there with all their guns.
Yes.
And they walk to the train station, dead ass middle of the street, no cover.
Nope. They don't even hide. They
They don't even
care.
hide.
They don't
Just-
need to.
What do you mean they don't need to?
That's not proper
Maybe
technique.
sneak your way there.
No, they had a good technique.
Army of cultists.
The cultists weren't there yet.
Okay, but they're somewhere.
Yes.
So anywhere between you and the station, they
Didn't
could
they-
be. Why not take cover and go cover to cover and sneak your way to the train station?
Because they don't
Is
do
this
Let's
a
walk-
formation?
let's
Is
walk
this like a
dead
cop
ass
formation?
middle of the
It
street?
is. It
This
is.
is a cop formation.
It is a
thing.
formation.
This is where you're going
It's
with
actually
this.
a cop
This is why
formation
it's
thing.
better. Because
they have Descanso and Sergeant Jericho in the front, right? They're the point men. Melanie, Bashir in the rear, the group of people in the center. It's called a diamond.
Oh, yeah, and how does a diamond work when they're frisbee tossing saw blades at you?
I'll tell you, it really didn't work out for them.
No.
Because these cultists show up on the buildings and they start just chucking freaking saw blades.
They're just frothing.
They really just got to get to the train station, guys. I mean, they're not going to do 2x2 cover formation with no one in the mine town yet.
Oh, and the quarterback is toast.
And the quarterback
How
is
much?
toast.
How much did they practice the frisbee tossing?
I don't know.
Because unless this is an innate Martian skill, these guys didn't know how to do this when they were just miners. So when they're down there doing like, rah, 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 was it like frisbee practice for the saw blades?
That's where they were at. They were practicing out in the fields.
Martian Frisbee Championships.
Once again, the amount of frisbees though that actually hit them. I mean, they're literally like 1 for 9.
If we're gonna take over Mars, we have to get rid of throwing these frisbees.
What'd that guy say?
I need a glass of milk.
Ridiculous.
Come on.
Stab my tits.
So, all right, they're running down the street.
They get to the
mine office in the background blows up, and now we start getting the Martian cultists who are coming over the tops of the buildings.
And so Ice Cube goes, Plan A is screwed. You got a Plan B. And she's like, yeah, it's Plan A.
Dude.
And so he goes, I got my own plan. And what's Ice Cube's plan?
He says, you got a bet. She says, you got a better plan. He says, yeah, I do. What we should have done in the first place.
Yeah. Let's run down the street, shooting in both directions and looking in neither.
Wide shot. Come on, you mindless mother.
Yeah.
And just blasts these dual wielding, these freaking D5K Deutsches from Goldeneye.
I know dual wielding is supposed to always be cool, but he's just shooting to the left and right, and he's looking straight ahead.
It's Ice Cube. Who
He's
cares?
shooting 2 walls.
Freaking Anthrax, the score just picks up.
It's the whole thing is
it's on.
You love
on
cop,
like
you love
Donkey
cop
Kong.
formations and all that bull crap, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so here's him. This is the cop formation.
No.
Running down the street.
No, not even a little bit.
How about this? They all have melee weapons. So let's close rank and use our guns as melee weapons instead of keeping the high ground at the top of the hill and shooting all of them.
No one said it was a good plan.
You said they had a good plan. I'm sitting there going, you're the only ones with guns. Why are we closing rank? They're all like, rah, rah, rah. And here they are having to beat people to death with their guns.
It's the cowboy moment. He gets to just dual wield and start shooting blankly.
Is that
at
what
people.
it is? Uno gets infected.
Yep.
Well, he gets infected first.
Dose is still hitting his laugher.
Yeah.
Drops a peach grenade. Blows himself up.
Right.
Yes.
He's dead. Uno gets the Martian thing in his ear, and I'm like, oh, somebody kill him before he pulls an Uno reverse on everybody. And
Uno reverse. Oh, you.
Uno, Dose, or Trace don't make it into the building. I don't think Trace makes it in, but dies.
See, and here's the thing: Descanso's just freaking shotgun.
Yes.
She's just like people on the rooftop. He's just like boom, 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 boom.
Yes.
Yeah, and Descanso's fighting people, and then Trace gets speared with some literal 6-foot spear.
Yeah.
Descanso is guarding the door as everybody's trying to run in.
Descanso's guarding the door.
And he goes to help somebody up.
He goes to help Trace.
And a saw blade comes through.
Just from nowhere.
And just takes his whole arm off.
Yep.
And at first I was just like, there just ain't no way you're throwing a saw blade hard enough to get through the bone of somebody's arm, and that thing came off like it was butter.
Oh, yeah.
Just clean. And I'm just in the middle of that thought, and all of a sudden, another one comes in, and his freaking head comes off and just goes,
all right.
I'm just like,
he's gone.
All right, that's awesome.
This is what I'm saying. Descanso, his arm gets sliced off.
Yeah.
He shakes his nub around. It's just like, all right, just pulls out his freaking pistol after he loses his arm.
Yes.
Up against the wall. Boom, 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 boom. Just drilling these Martians on the ridge line.
Yes.
And then one more saw blade, lops his head right off.
It was crazy.
For me, it was great because when the arm came off, I'm like, oh, that's good. That's good. I was like, I wasn't expecting the headshot too.
I don't know why it was so funny to me, but just the way his body just went.
Total lip after that. Just fell over.
Went down.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, that's ridiculous. You get the main baddie pops up on we call it the horizon line or whatever.
The ridge line.
Buildings, the ridge line.
Yeah.
Rah, 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 rah. And I'm like, oh crap, get the rah rah guys here, get back in the freaking building.
Guy.
You know.
More stuff's blowing up.
Also, why are none of our guys getting infected while they're killing all of these people? Right?
Don't think too much.
Nobody's getting infected.
Don't think too much. There you go, thinking again.
They finally get in. They shut the door. Whitlock starts to ramble. Oh, it's in the wind. Yeah, the wind takes them with the train. Oh, the perfect creation.
The wind takes them down the train tracks.
Yes.
Nowhere else in this desolate desert land, but down the train tracks.
If there was no train tracks, then they wouldn't be able to go anywhere.
Yeah, the wind and the train tracks.
The Martians would come out. They'd kill whoever was there, and they'd be like, "You guys see a train?"
Yeah, we really needed it. We really needed the tracks. It works synergistically. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And she then has a flashback to where they discovered the mist in the first place, and it's like a mining operation. They're blasting the sides of canyons and things, and this is what unveiled the hallway that looked to be built by something that wasn't
Egyptians,
human. Right? Martian Egyptians.
Martian Egyptians.
They went in there, and there's like a clearly alien door. And I just want to say this as a PSA to all movie characters from now to the end of time: don't touch alien crap that you don't know what it is or what it does.
Just leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Look at it. Oh, isn't this nice? Take a picture of it.
They shouldn't
Don't touch it.
Right. Like they shouldn't have gone down the hallway.
What are you doing?
Should have been like, what's a hallway doing in the middle of this mountain?
Right.
I don't know. Let's leave.
That no one's ever been here before.
Right.
So time to go. Cordon off the area.
Oh, yeah. But now, what does she do? She touches this seemingly.
Opens up Pandora's box.
I like how it's not even a door, though. It's literally like a tomb wall is what it is. There's no
and it just shifts
obviousness.
open.
Yeah. She touches it. It just dissolves
into
nothing.
Yes.
And this red dust starts coming down the hallway.
Doesn't
miraculously, she's the first one there and doesn't get infected.
Nope.
She just runs
She's
past
fast.
everybody.
Yeah.
She's
Bye.
faster than red dust.
She literally ran straight to that weather balloon.
I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
It was just running. She just jumps into it.
It cuts back to her like this,
She's just
head in
flying
her
away
hand.
on a weather balloon, like looking at everybody like, sorry, guys.
Later, suckers. Catch you on the marinara train.
The best you wish you had a air balloon right now.
All the miners are
Freaking like demented Wizard of Oz moment.
That's what I'm saying. Instead of green, everything's red.
Then cuts back to her. She's got her head in her hands like this, and she goes, "It was me." And I'm like, "No shit."
Now you feel
I
bad?
let them all out.
Not when you were getting away in your weather balloon?
No.
I opened Pandora's box.
Desolation Williams and
Snake Plissken.
Snake Plissken and Mel have a conversation that's just riddled with
Let's just call him Fake Pliskin.
fake Plissken.
Black Plissken.
Yes.
Plissken.
Black Plissken.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. The whole conversation is just cliches. Nothing bothers me. I'm a lookout for me. I get the job done. We got to be a team. I'm like, this is the whole conversation, right?
Yeah.
More or less.
More or less. It's just cliche after cliche.
Is this before or after Statham and her almost get it?
Well, this is what happens right here. So
This
Statham.
is before, yeah. 'cause
Meanwhile,
they're having
Statham
this-
pulls her over. He's like, hey, I need you to come look at this doorknob
Wait a
or
minute.
something. I don't know what it
There's
is.
an important part of the conversation.
Well, please. Let's grind this to a halt for this.
Because he says,
I got to.
Let's grind these train brakes and just stop this train
This
from
better be
rolling.
so important.
Ryan's
Because-
expo dump of information.
because
Better be so
Desolation
important.
says to her, for when the tide is up.
Yeah.
And that's it, right?
Oh,
Oh, it's a key
Because he says when the tide is up.
yes.
All right, now
for later.
let's continue.
When she's at the door.
Then Statham comes in out of nowhere and basically says, I need you to come look at a doorknob or something. Like, I don't know. It's literally
He's like, hey, Mel, I found something back here.
yeah, back in this room.
It's a little cozy, isn't it?
You brought me in here to seduce me?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think we're all gonna die, so I think I might get my
Yeah.
you know,
yeah, right. And she goes,
with the way things are, this might be our last
I'm
chance.
hoping to
get some dome.
and she's
polish.
and she's down, which
Yeah.
was a little bit surprising.
She is DTF.
Yes.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere,
nowhere.
she's just like, yeah, you could be right. And just walks up and starts making out with him.
making out with him. But then they get interrupted by Clea, Bashaba, or whatever,
Bashira
and,
again.
Shira? I love that show.
shoots the old man prisoner.
The old man prisoner who is now
Locked in a
mutilated his
cell.
face.
Right.
He's mutilated his face. He's chewed his fingertips off. He's got bones for fingers now.
Right.
But yeah, she just wastes him in the cell, in a locked prison cell.
Right. Well, he can't do anything to
Literally,
hurt anybody.
he can't do anything to hurt anybody.
Well, and the other thing is it keeps the ghost inside of him.
Right, because this is how Mel, Bella gets infected.
and now Melanie gets infected because Bashira is stupid.
Right. And so the girl that he was just trying to get with, he just dumps her outside.
Oh God, that was funny.
He's just like, bye. Sorry.
Later.
I mean, what else you gonna do?
Put her in the cell?
They're like, well, okay, she's infected. What are we gonna do?
Here's the thing.
Let's just take her outside.
They're trapped in this building, but then they put her outside. Where the hell are all the bad guys?
They went back to the mine.
But I thought the whole point is that they were trapped in this building.
Yeah, but they went back to the mine.
No, they were playing frisbee.
Do you want
But
to
there's
know?
no reason for them to go back to the mine.
There is a reason for them to go back to the mine.
They have trapped these people in this building. In every other movie of this ilk, when you're trapped, it's because the enemies are at the door, the enemies are at the gate, until they don't need them to be because they want her outside for the next scene.
They go back to the mine to get the battering ram.
They're going to build a battering ram.
Yes.
So they're out there building the battering
Like
ram.
they could build a battering ram right in front of the building.
But they need the mine vehicle.
But
there's
their
vehicles all over the place.
their tool shops back at Baser.
well,
Like
their guy that does
their settlement,
their tool
like-
and die guy.
like the Fallout. like in Fallout,
He's like,
like in
he's like
Fallout, you
wiping
go
his
back to your
hands.
settlement to build stuff.
All right, fine.
He's wiping his hands with like a rag, and he's like,
It just
he's just like,
Dominic Toretto's.
and he's like, take me 20 minutes is basically what he's saying.
The most important
Yeah.
thing on Mars is family.
that's right. It just reeked of
I think it would have
we
been
need them to not be here for a minute. So
I think it would have been awesome if they had like the little scroll text underneath to like let you know what they were saying.
Yes.
Just been
Subtitles?
Like, yeah, subtitles.
be awesome.
we had
like-
Martian subtitles.
What this guy say?
They dump her outside.
Dude.
The bad guys are gone
They give her a pill.
ridiculously. They give her one of her Percocets out of her necklace. Then she starts to change, and we see her these flashes of
Now
like,
we're having
the
hallucinations.
Martians who look
within the-
like piranhas with Down syndrome.
They look.
They look like, they look like the street sharks mixed with piranhas.
That's exactly. I was trying to think of it. I was trying to think of it. I remember Street Sharks. You
Yeah.
remember Street Sharks?
They look like
Yeah,
street
early
sharks.
aughts.
They literally.
Battle toads.
Battletoads.
They look like street sharks that make grilled cheese late at night. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
You know they're making them late at night.
And we see all this stuff, and then she just opts out of transforming.
This is Bob's favorite part.
Oh, this is not opting out. This is,
No, she literally just said, "No, I don't want to do this."
but just her face. That was orgasmic.
Okay, you just
And then she stares at the red dust
She
for a minute.
was. I have never seen a woman get rid of anything out of her mouth that fast before.
that was crazy. I'm like, what are they saying with this? What they do? Like, you can just say no. Just say it's okay, guys. You can let me back in. I just told them no. I don't want to become a Martian.
Yeah.
It's because
Sorry.
she is a strong, independent woman.
That don't need no Martian.
She don't need no Martian.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Everybody else that gets the Martian in her ear, they all turn, but she's just so powerful she can just go,
Nope.
no.
Not
Hell
today.
yeah.
Do you notice that all the infected are not black nor women
What?
in the cast?
What?
The girl that jumps out was
Uno
infected.
got
of them-
infected,
Oh, he did
Half
get
of them
infected.
are women.
and half of them are women.
I'm just saying, Ice
The
Cube.
infected are women.
Never mind.
Never mind. Scratch that.
Yeah, scratch that off completely, sir.
Oh, I'll tell you what else is wrong about this movie. Oh, wait. Oh, it's not wrong? All right, let's forget about it.
That's not correct. I'll be over here.
I love it. No, I love it. I love it. I love it.
These Martians are racist against white people.
That's
all
right. He's
Ice
freaking
Cube never gets infected.
racist.
Black don't get infected.
Because he's the main character.
Oh, he's plot protected.
I got you.
And the main character does get infected, but she just says no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous.
It's
what I
because they
mean.
gave her the drug.
the drug.
Xanax.
Yes.
Xanax.
Everyone
Percocet.
just gets to pop Xanax and Percocet, and then they're
Like-
good to go.
Maybe they
Well,
just
maybe while the thing was inside of her, the ghost was inside of her. Maybe the ghost, because it's
The ghost like, oh, this girl high
the
AF.
ghost with the
gotta
host. Yeah.
Right.
Like he was like using her body, and then all of a sudden he's feeling the same effects.
No.
And the ghost is like, I'm out.
I got you.
Peace out.
Peace out.
dude.
Took off like her boyfriend did in the night of prom.
Ooh. Filled her up and took out.
All right. But now she gets back in. So she kills one lone bad guy. One lone bad guy. Shows up. Hey, I'm supposed to watch the building, even though we're all supposed to freaking be here.
They were building the battering ram.
They could have done it right in front of the building.
They had no supplies.
They
James.
needed the mining supplies, James.
They just take.
They needed the mining supplies.
Everything was made out of clay.
She kills this one guy, uses his sword, the sword of power from Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, that's Bashira.
What it looked like. It kind of looked like
It
it.
did look like
does,
it.
And
It
then
really does.
Use it as a grappling hook, gets back in, knocks on the door.
Climbs over the wall, knocks on the door. Let me
Okay,
in.
guys.
Walks right through the barbed wire like nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And I immediately thought of Last Action Hero when he goes, Tar sticks to most people.
Yeah.
Barbed wire catches most pants. And skin.
Usually.
Yeah, usually.
You know.
Nope, she just steps right over it.
Good for her.
Power of the blonde quads.
Good for her.
Hey, I heard you over here. I thought you might need some clothes. So guess what happens the second she gets back in the building? Now they're surrounded again.
Yes.
Battering ram
Isn't
is
that
finished.
convenient?
Yes. They're watching the security camera. Now here comes the battering ram down the
Yeah.
road that all the Martians just went and built.
That's what they were doing. The bad guys were watching the security camera, and they're like, rah, 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 which means we can't be there right now because they have to shoot this scene with her, and then we can go back and surround the building
So we
again.
can get the classic line from her saying, I was outside, alone,
Alone.
unarmed.
I just thought it was cool when they were walking down the street, the battering ram. I thought I was watching a WWF entrance.
Once again, it is.
Another. Rah, rah.
Dun, dun, dun. It's like Triple H.
pyro going off.
It had a very
It's like
Mad
Triple
Max
H
feel.
is
did,
Triple
for
H
sure.
is entering the
Triple H is
Triple
entering.
H is entering.
Play the game.
Oh, dude.
Except it's Martian game.
He gets in there. The Martian's got a bottle of water, and he freaking just pours it.
Pours it all over himself.
Stuff.
Has a sledgehammer. Knocks down the door with
They
it.
knock the door down, and they bottleneck them in this hallway.
Here we go.
They start mowing
Here
them
we
down.
go. We got Desolation Williams and Melanie Ballard. Tells everyone else, let's go to the back. We'll take them off as long as we can.
I did enjoy this scene.
And now they're throwing
This
the detonators.
scene is awesome.
Yeah, the amount of bullets that rip like
They just start.
the hallway. I'm sorry.
No, they're doing. I'm listening to what you're saying. They're doing 2 by 2.
Yeah,
And when they're reloading, the other two step up.
That's
and then they
but
switch.
that's like when they come out of nowhere. You get Butler and Bashir coming up like clear, and then like boom, boom, boom.
It was great.
Dude. Stunt guys just blowing into sides of the hallways, blowing
it's
through
great.
the set.
And they're
squibs
There's
going
corned beef
off.
hash going everywhere.
And they're checking.
Fruit cocktail.
They're chucking detonators. They're just detonators by themselves now, and they're just blowing. Like, what do you need the cans for? These things are massively exploding.
Oh, their guys
just
are
on their
flying
own.
everywhere.
Okay, dudes are flying all over the place. They radio the train. First of all, main baddie drops in
Drops through the ceiling.
through the ceiling. Rah 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 rah.
Rah, rah, rah.
Big
know who
Daddy
that-
V.
Do you know who that is?
Yes.
That's Richard Citrone.
Cetrone. Yeah, Richard
Who-
Cetrone.
Was Affleck's Batman in BVS stunt double.
Yeah.
So all the dude in the suit in BVS doing the stunts
Wow.
was the guy that played rah
a
rah
big
rah
dude.
guy
Yeah.
in this movie.
Richard Cetrone has been a stuntman for 30 years. He was in The
Yeah.
Scorpion King.
He's in his tons of stuff.
Yeah.
But I just thought because we covered that movie specifically, the fact that he was Batman was pertinent.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
That's great.
It's crazy to me.
It's
And this dude, I mean, it was smart to cast a stunt guy because he doesn't say anything intelligible anyway in the entire movie. And he looked awesome. And so all the stuff he was doing looked cool.
He believed what he was doing. He was just, it's embodiment of
I mean, this-
that character.
yeah.
But
The problem is
He
he
helps
gave
make
him
the movie.
And this is why I know we've been joking around about it, but Carpenter said the reason that they made that the only vowel sound they could make was an A, which is why it's like this whenever they would talk, is because of the mouth prosthetics they put in his mouth, the teeth and whatever, and all because they had to file their teeth down or whatever.
Right.
And so that's why he sounds like that. It's not because it was like an acting choice. It's the only noise he could make with the mouth prosthetic.
dude, he owns it.
he owns it.
He owns it.
Yeah.
And then like this, and now like this scene, so he drops through the ceiling.
Yeah.
He's trying to fight Desolation and Melanie, and she just blows this thing of explosive that he's standing
Yes.
next to. And once again, here he is just on fire.
Right.
Richard Cetrone just doing his own thing.
Right.
Running around on fire.
It was awesome.
Awesome.
That's how they're able to get away from that. They radio the train or Batherba, whatever her name is.
Yeah, Bashir climbs up the tower.
Radios the train. The train guys are back and they're like, "Hey, what's going on out there?" And
Dude.
she's like, "We'll be right there." I'm like, "Maybe you want to let the train know what's happening."
I love how the train is just sitting at the station
Yes.
now, where it doesn't
Yes.
it doesn't show it arriving, doesn't show it anything,
Nothing.
and it's just like, oh, there it is, it's at the station now, and they're just like, yeah, what's going on out there? What, did you look
they don't
out
tell
the
'em.
window?
There's no. Well, it doesn't look like there's a lot of windows on that train.
There's not a lot of windows,
We're
but
not going to skip over who's driving that train, are we?
Porthole. No, tell us who the train driver is.
It's Revenge of the Nerds, baby. That's Lewis, baby. Lambda, lambda, lambda.
Yes, it is. It's Lewis. He's only in the beginning and the end of the movie, but I appreciated that he was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good
I
stuff.
loved it.
Because they dropped the train. We skipped this because it wasn't super important, but the train dropped them off and said, we'll be back in like 4 hours or whatever. And we're doing a turnaround. And so now they're back. They roll out in this RV, try and get to the train out of the building.
The slowest RV.
Every building in the mining complex is blowing up. Why?
No reason.
Literally no reason at all.
How much explosive we got left?
They wired every building with explosives except for the one that they're in.
Danny
And they're
McBride
like,
was on set that day.
hit him. Mother Nature just pissed her pantsuit. Let's go. All the buildings are randomly exploding for no reason as they drive to the train.
I need dudes up here to speak American.
That's right. Train rolls out.
Yeah,
Right?
and they're just riding on like a hay bale tractor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got this, guys.
We got it. They get to the train.
Going as slow as possible.
it's the same vehicle in the.
It's like my son
It's the
stuck down
only
the street in
vehicle
his
they
little
have
pedal
on
car.
Mars.
Can't get up the hill.
yeah.
Martians are just like full running.
They only had enough money to produce
I gotta go. Trying to pedal up the hill.
It's a big wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wheels are just sliding because there's no traction.
This crazy Ultimate Warrior Martians.
Running in place like Sir Lancelot in Holy Grail.
Got it. Almost get to the train. Got it.
Yes. They made it though.
They did.
Oh, yeah.
They made it. They got to the train.
Yep.
They all get on the train. Train takes off.
With
and
like
we're
3 or 4 people on it, right?
and we're home free, right?
Oh, there's 7 people
We're
on
home free, right?
Yes.
Right, guys?
We're home
This
free.
is-
We're out of here.
Look,
Not
No,
according
no.
to Ice Cube.
Let's go back.
this is it. Back to the tribunal, right?
Right?
Oh, okay. So there's
We're
7
just gonna
survivors.
go home, right?
You guys,
Yeah.
there's 7.
should.
At this point, there are 7 survivors, right? So what does Melanie have this idea to do?
to go back.
You know what, guys? We have a real opportunity here.
Hey, James.
What?
Commander Shepard would have gone back. Commander Shepard would have gone back.
But Commander Shepard and Melanie Ballard are 2 totally different people, and her crew is not Garrus and Morden and Rex or Ashley or Grunt or Tally or Garrus or any of these people.
You said Garrus twice.
It's 2 freaking. He's worth 2 people. It's all these freaking yahoos. 2 crappy, 1 crappy rookie, some old fat train conductor, the girl from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Jason Statham with hair, which is far less powerful than regular Jason Statham,
That's
and
true.
Natasha Henstridge, who's already strung out on Percocet. It's not like Commander Shepard going back with his crack squad to go and free the people from the Martian coast. They go back. They were free.
Fair point.
Yes. Why does it make sense?
No reason.
So the idea now, right, is they're going to go back and they're going to blow up a nuclear power plant to kill all the Martians.
Everything that happened from this point, what are we, 15 minutes from the end at this point?
Yes, 15 minutes from the end.
From this point on, from the moment she says, let's go back, everything that happens is solely because they're dumbasses.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
This-
plan is to blow up the nuclear
They're going to go back and
power plant.
blow up a nuclear power plant. And she even says, like, it'll kill them, right?
What'll happen? A big explosion, right?
Right.
I think her literal dialogue, she's like, well, only if we expose the rods, you idiot.
Then you'll have a small atomic bomb going boom.
So my issue is here. Don't we want to keep the dust inside the people?
Yes.
So why are we going to kill everybody?
Well, she says, will that kill them? Because they're inside the people.
Look.
And she goes,
Yeah, right. So wouldn't it just be better to just keep them in a containment unit and let it die off?
Do you want to
on
know
its own?
why? Because it's John Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars. Okay?
All right, answered.
And because at the end of the 90s,
she should have just said that then.
nuclear weapons,
This is John Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars.
Listen,
we need to
We
do
are
this.
going back.
for 10 years in cinema, the solution to everything was a nuclear bomb.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I get, even in
So it's irony.
Aliens.
Even in
Remember,
Aliens.
they're like, I say we take off, we nuke the site from orbit.
Exactly.
It's the only way to be sure.
That the solution to every problem is a nuclear bomb.
And just another example of this movie ripping off aliens.
Sure, fine, okay.
Okay.
Quick question: why did the power plant look like a Dairy Queen on the side of the road?
Oh, you see, we were going to the Dairy Queen.
This is the power plant,
Right.
one-story hut.
Could I have a Mr. Missy freeze, please, with a...
It's ridiculous.
And you got to expose cores, which we never saw any of that nonsense. They literally walk in.
So they gotta
Even,
walk out.
even Ice Cube before he goes, I don't give a crap about saving this planet, but I'm gonna die fighting. Okay, Ice.
Apparently, and that was the big quote that swayed the train conductor.
Right.
Because the train conductor was very anti going back.
We are not going back.
We are not going back. And she said, yes, you are. He said, the answer's no.
All right, here's the plan.
Yeah. So here we go.
The train is going to be a distraction. And oh my God, I don't want to be on the train team. The train gets enveloped by cultists immediately.
It's awesome.
Immediately. The train is a distraction while Whitlock and Roger Rabbit Girl and Mel go to the power station in Jericho.
No. Mel stays outside.
But she's with them at the power station. She's not on the train as a distraction, is what I'm saying.
You got the nuclear team and the train team.
Right.
So the train team pulls into the station, throws out some bombs, shoots a couple of them, and then locks the doors.
They're just getting swarmed.
And they're just boom, boom, boom. And
main bad guy. This is beyond idiotic, but also hilarious.
It is.
Main bad guy is just sitting there watching his cultists like, oh, yes, good job attacking the... Rah, 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 rah. Good job.
Good job.
And he just looks over to his left. And it's literally just a straight turn. And here's Melanie with two gigantic binoculars. just standing there
with binoculars.
In the wide open. And she goes... I think he saw me. You know why he saw you? Because your ass is standing in the middle of a desert with the big giant binoculars, like right at him.
Oh, and what happens?
Rah, 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 rah. I'm just
and now here we go.
Dumbasses.
It is.
So can somebody explain to me why one needs binoculars and the other one doesn't? I love that. Like she's like, I need to see up close, and he's like, they're right there.
I needed the wide angle of her being 15 feet away from him.
It's what it is.
You know what I mean? It cut out.
Just like it cuts out. And there's just like a little tiny 10-foot canyon between them, and they're like, he's like,
rah, rah, rah.
And she's like, oh.
She was looking the wrong way in the binoculars, so it seemed far away.
So he seemed like he was really far. She had him backwards.
She brings him down, and he's right there. Rah, rah.
They're closer than we thought.
We gotta go.
She's literally just like, and she even on the radio, she's like, I think he saw me. No, you don't say.
Whitlock. So then it's like pandemonium. Okay, the train. He's like, pull out the train. The train pulls.
Train
out.
starts pulling out.
Yeah.
You got Bashira and Ice Cube out the door, just gunning down and throwing bombs.
Whitlock gets infected.
Just standing there.
Train guy gets saw bladed.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he gets
Mr. McSims.
Mr. McSims.
Mr. McSims comes out chucking detonators. Yeah. Right here we go.
He gets saw bladed.
Saw
to
bladed
pieces.
thrice.
3 times.
Sliced thrice.
Also, Beersheba gets.
And you know what? Here's Bashira's one moment of like, all right, here she goes. She's dual wielding pistols, just taking them out. Boom. And then, once again, 3 saw blades.
Head.
She ducks. I love how she ducks. She's like,
She tries to duck, but.
And then leans back up and.
I love both rookie cops get decapitated by saw blades in this movie. And then I thought Jericho's death was kind of unceremonious.
Completely.
Considering that he was a big character, and he just gets mobbed, and you don't even see him anymore.
No, he just gets taken.
He gets mobbed off screen, and then you just kind of hear like the.
Oh, I'm getting killed. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, shave my head, please. I need hair club for Mars.
Hair club for Mars. Oh, that's a good one.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, all right. I lost my spot because it was just ridiculous. All right. So ultimately, Cube and Mel are the only 2 that get back on the train.
Right. So she gets the saw blade on the leg.
Right.
She gets hit in the thigh with a saw blade. So Desolation.
Power of the quad.
Desolation grabs her, picks her up. They get back to the train. Other train conductor guy is like, come on, let's go. And then just starts throwing detonators.
Right.
Saw blade to the neck.
He gets it.
He's out. That was the dad from Lizzie McGuire.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I never saw that show, but
Yeah.
I'm sure that some 12-year-old girl, probably a lot of 12-year-old girls watch Ghosts of Mars, that when they see this movie, they're going to go, hey, I know that guy from
that's
Lizzie
Lizzie McGuire's dad.
Awesome. Right as he gets decapitated.
Right as he gets his jugular slit.
So Mel stays in the main cab, and Ice Cube's like, I'm going to go
Lighten the load.
lighten the load. Climbs up on the roof, opens the dynamite hatch in the top. There's literally a hatch that opens on the top of this train where there's just a box of dynamite.
Crate.
And I'm like,
A crate of dynamite right on top.
it has to be a dynamite hatch because otherwise, why would the dynamite be so close
To the top.
of
Yeah.
the thing when he opens it up? It's right there.
It was.
There's just a single like box inside there.
It's all
and
it
just
was.
sets the box
That's all
down.
it was. It's all this cargo with tarps over it,
Right.
and just one perfectly placed crate of dynamite,
Open
Right.
crate of dynamite.
completely symmetrically under this hatch.
on a scissor lift underneath the hatch of the train, right? And which he then puts a detonator in, which then this specific detonator only blows up when he really needs it to.
Yeah.
this
is also
specific
super-
detonator takes a long time to blow up.
Right. But
we
every
had-
other one
But we have to have the hand-to-hand combat fight
got
scene.
to. So two people drop in. One is main baddie guy who
Big
fights
Daddy Mars.
Big Daddy Mars. I love that was the name on the credit.
That's
list.
his-
I was
yeah.
like, yes.
Yeah.
Big Daddy Mars drops in and rah-rahs with Ice Cube.
Yeah.
And then Rando Cultist number 2 because Natasha Henstridge has to have
Oh,
somebody.
he was
to
an
fight.
Asian Martian because
Yeah.
he had karate.
That's right. He comes in like the Martian.
Looking like Vega.
Looking like yes. And he's fighting her in the other car. So you have two one-on-one combos or happening.
Yeah, cutting back and forth between one-on-one combat.
And it was fine. I mean, it wasn't anything super great, but they fight. Main bro and random bro against these two people. Ice.
I would have liked to have seen Vega use at least his hand knife.
Something.
Once. Just
claws.
something like get it stuck in the machine,
Dude, I
like
was
in
gonna
the side
say,
of the train.
if he was
something.
like cutting through the science machines and there
Yeah.
were sparks going off,
Right.
stuff like
like
that.
something cool with
Yeah.
the fight. And
No, the fight
like,
was just kind of
even it
generic.
got stuck in the bed or something, and she.
She's a good fighter, but it was just kind of a generic fight.
And then she kicks him out the train.
This
And
final fight is very generic.
Yeah, and then Cube is able to separate the cars with Big Daddy Mars on the train that
With the dynamite.
has the dynamite in
Yeah.
it. And so as the thing is pulling away, he's going rah, 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 and then the thing blows up with him on.
I thought
it.
that was cool.
It was a good shot.
It's a great ending.
It's a
It
good
was- and I
shot.
just love
for
that
him.
he died doing what he loved, saying rah, 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 rah.
He died saying rah, rah, rah and
He
blowing,
died doing what he
and
loves.
blowing stuff up.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, did I just miss something, or was it so fast that I was like writing something down? Then the nuclear power plant goes up, and I don't remember them ever accomplishing anything at the nuclear power plant that
No,
would
they
make it
Literally
blow up.
opened the door,
there's a
walked
quick-
inside, ordered a blizzard, and walked out.
That's all it was. But yeah, there was a quick, literally 10 seconds of
Okay.
Joanna Cassidy.
I thought they failed at wiring it to blow.
No,
then
no.
It blows up.
She types something on a science machine, and Jericho kind of walks off screen and says, "So where do we place the dynamite?"
Oh, that's
And that
real
was-
quick. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Nuke
So,
goes off.
I love, I love how they're like, "So what's next? Say your prayers." Smash cut to literally the entire planet,
Yes.
and this explosion that was supposed to be like a mile
Yes.
is just like,
Yeah.
like an
Like
entire.
an A-bomb. Yeah.
It's like an entire hemisphere's worth of an explosion.
a little more than a mile if the scale of Mars is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah, you should have just seen like a little
from as far back as they cut.
Yeah.
But yes,
from Mars. It
absolutely.
should have just been like a little dust cloud.
Seriously. Ice Cube and her have a little like, hey, partner, good job. Yeah, cliche. He ends up handcuffing her to the bed after they were just holding hands and says, I'm not letting you take me in.
It was all a ploy.
It was all a ploy.
Yeah.
And he jumps off the train. Then it cuts back to the tribunal, and the tribunal lady's like, that's it? What are we supposed to tell people, that we're overrun by the ghosts of Mars?
He said the thing.
I wish she had. She just said
She
ghosts.
just said,
Yeah.
well,
But
so
I was
we're
like,
gonna
that was the
tell-
perfect time.
That would have been
say
the
the line.
perfect time,
And this-
except
Great.
for the fact that the Inquisitor sucked as a character.
But this seemed like the kind of movie that would say the title of the movie.
It should have,
Right?
I wish it did at some point.
It should have.
even at the very,
Whitlock or somebody-
What a lost opportunity.
I'll tell you.
Yes.
To do
even
right there.
Even
Yes.
in this final scene that we get, right, which talk about a terrible, terrible ending.
Awful.
Where now Melanie's in the hospital bay or whatever,
Yeah.
and she's just trying to sleep it off.
She gets Rick grimed.
The-
She did.
Yes.
Right? Apocalypse goes down while you're in a gurney in a hospital.
Exactly,
somewhere.
dude. Red dust is coming over the hill
So awesome.
into Crisis,
Right.
And what's happening outside?
Yeah.
All pandemonium.
So you know what that means?
What does that mean?
Ghost of Mars 2.
No, it means everything they did after they made that stupid decision to go back was pointless and everybody died.
I just rewound it 3 times to watch her get out of bed.
You know what?
They used that part in the trailer.
Man.
If you were
in
a
the
fan
trailer.
yeah. Well, that was all they could. I mean, if you were a fan of Species, you
Yeah.
were maybe expecting a little more.
Right.
But-
You're a better man than me, Bob. It only
no.
took me once.
But here's the thing.
I guess I'm a perv.
Everybody got that? Everybody. Like, it was, the whole thing was pointless.
It was pointless. Absolutely.
Completely pointless.
100%.
Yeah.
There's no reason to go back
You
and
could
blow
have just
up
went
anything.
back and let, like, it might even been a better
know what?
movie to go back and let everyone know.
And then you got the whole
create
team
an
there.
army.
Yeah.
You know what? They tried.
Oh, they tried?
They did their
tried.
best.
All right.
It's the thought that counts.
Yes. It was
Instead,
the
we end
thought
up,
that counts.
we get Ice Cube coming in with his chromed out guns to save her from her hospital bed to say, tide's up, time to stay alive.
Yep.
End of the movie. I want him to wear one of the chrome guns around his neck.
You know-
what I mean? Like on a necklace.
Yeah.
Be awesome.
Yeah.
Talk about even like the last shot is they're just like, it's like this tracking shot down the hallway with them just casually walking with these chrome plated guns.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's like, you would make a heck of a crook. Yeah, you'd make a hell of a cop. Nah, you know.
Yeah.
And then
Credits.
like literally the last line of the movie is her going like, that's what we do best. Like completely lackluster. Ice Cube looks directly at the camera.
Yep.
And just is like, to
Today's a good day.
do that. And it even just like fades out.
Crap. Utter crap. ending.
It's such a terrible ending.
And I love terrible endings. I mean, there's been so many times on this movie or on this show where we've had some of the worst endings ever, and they're hilarious.
Yeah.
But this isn't even hilarious in a like, or not even bad in a funny way.
No.
It just they walk off the screen and that's
They
the end
just
of the
walk
movie.
off screen.
So the good news for us is that it's over and we made it through the entire plot. And now it's time to give this movie some awards.
All right, guys, let's get into it.
But before we give it some awards, let's improve the crap out of this movie. We can improve the crap out of this movie by doing one very simple thing.
What is that, James?
By taking Arnold Schwarzenegger and making him Desolation Williams instead of Ice Cube. Mm-hmm. I mean, ultimately, we would rather have Kurt Russell playing this part and be Snake Plissken. But if we can't have Escape from Earth or Escape from Mars or whatever it was,
Whatever they
supposed to
wanted
be,
to call it.
whatever they wanted to do,
Sure.
let's have Arnold play the part once you decided to abandon the escape idea.
Oh, come on.
Have
Kurt Russell
Arnold.
and Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Dude. Or
Imagine that being a great movie.
it's Quaid because you're on Mars.
Oh, Quaid.
You get on Mars and Quaid is already there.
Yes.
Right? And so Quaid shows
What a
up
great
halfway through the movie.
crossover. Quaid and Pliskin?
The tide is up. It's time to stay alive. Right?
There you go.
Absolutely.
You got it.
All of you are in big trouble. It may be fantastic. And then at the end, he's fighting him and Richard Citrone having a fight on the train
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah.
Would be 10 times better than him fighting Ice Cube.
Oh,
A
absolutely.
knockdown, drag out fight between those two. And then he finally separates the cars. And you hear all go, this is your stop. And he freaking punches him on the other side. And he blows up. It'd be fantastic.
That
Don't
would've been
tell me
good.
that wouldn't be a better movie.
That would be a wee better movie.
Yes.
Seriously.
It would be all right.
What?
I'm just gonna feel nuclear detonations about to happen.
It would be all right.
It would be all right.
Total Recall 2 by John Carpenter. Quaid shows up halfway through, saves the day.
Yeah.
How about Die Hard on Mars with Bruce Willis?
You want to put Bruce Willis in this? Yes.
John McClane on Mars.
John McClane on Mars.
Oh, come to Mars. We'll get together, smoke a few Martian cigarettes.
Drop
You know,
a
these
few,
are very bad for you.
drop a few Percocets.
Welcome to Mars, pal.
He would make it better for sure. But
No blipping crap, lady. It sounds like I'm ordering a pizza
that's right.
With marinara.
with marinara.
Marinara.
Do I sound like I'm ordering spaghetti? I'm sorry.
Marco's playing along. He goes, Arnold, give him the role of Jericho because I'd love to hear him chatting up Natasha Henstridge and bigging up his penis size. Listen, I know you like a penis connoisseur and you like have seen all kinds of different ones, but what I've got for you here is something you've never seen. It's incredible. It's so muscly.
Veiny.
It's very veiny. It's very good.
That's right.
It's wonderful.
It's fantastic.
It's great.
Be hilarious, dude. Josh goes, all right, let's make this movie 100 times better. Have Arnold be Natasha's character, and boom, you add one-liners and actually good fight scenes, and bam, you've got a decent sci-fi movie from this nonsense. Thank you, Josh, the Hammer White House, basically saying what I was just saying.
Yeah.
Just add in them one-liners. What
It would have been way better.
Any dialogue from this movie that was memorable.
Well, I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger already made like Batman and Robin better just
That's what I'm
because of
saying.
the one-liners. Yeah.
There's not a single line of dialogue that I would ever quote from this movie or pull, like, even like for a funny joke sometime. Or
What if you made him the bad guy?
Oh, Richard Citrone was
What did he
awesome.
say?
I don't know if I would replace him.
I pulled a line of dialogue from this movie a few weeks ago.
Oh, please.
We were talking about men exaggerating, and I looked
And you're
at
like,
someone.
oh, the tide is high.
No, no, I said, yeah, and this is 8 inches.
That's a pretty good line. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it's funny because no one gets it. So
No.
I'm just talking to some like 3 other guys at work, and I said like, yeah, and this is
Nobody
8
gets
inches.
8
Men
inches.
love to exaggerate.
Arnie
Yes,
can make
no one got it.
This
Of
is
course.
Jason Ryan. He goes, Arnie can make this movie better. You just replace anyone on the team. Even Statham sucked, but who knows if Arnie was there, it could have been better than this movie already was. And I'm like, I'm agreeing with you, but I just feel like you got to keep Statham in there. You want as much star power as possible. And not that Ice Cube at the time was a big star. I just don't think this was the movie suited for him.
Did Carter and Carter, sorry.
So
Carpenter?
I just pulled a mad laugh. Did he ever work with Arnold Schwarzenegger? That never happened.
Never, ever.
Jason Statham was supposed to play Desolation Williams.
But he didn't
Really?
He didn't
He
have
was
enough star power.
Originally cast as Desolation Williams, and the studio said, no, we need someone with star power.
What a bunch of morons.
So they said Ice Cube.
And how long after this did he make Transporter?
The next year.
Next year.
So 1 year later, other people had the foresight to go, this guy can fight. He looks good. He's got charisma. Let's put him in a movie as a star.
Yes.
And it was Transporter, big hit, especially within the community of people that like martial arts movies. And these people could have beat them to the punch by a year and said, no, Ice Cube instead. And what you end up with is a bunch of crappy fights that are generic and suck, where Statham that would have been incredible.
See, what you got too, like you already did the one,
Right.
which also was 2001.
Yeah.
And Screen Gems.
Right.
So it was Screen Gems had put him in the one as a supporting character,
Right.
And Ghost
That
of Mars.
can't fight.
Right.
A character that can't fight.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And then they say like, all right, well maybe we could get him to play the main character in this, but no, let's give it Ice Cube. And then Luke Besson said, no, let's just do the Transporter, and then we got that, and then we got Statham as
These idiots. These studio heads sometimes just overthink things.
If they would have flip-flopped those two roles, it would probably been better.
Ice Cube is better in that role, I think, of like secondary bro to
Her.
if Ice Cube was Sergeant Jericho.
Sergeant Jericho. I think he fits that part better.
He could have fit. I think he could have fit the part better, and it could have been written better.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
If Ice Cube was that part, but he wasn't always chatting up Melanie Ballard, because that was just
Like if they were actually like partners.
Can anyone answer that question for me?
Yeah.
Where were the biker mice?
Biker mice from Mars.
Biker mice from
Where were they?
the whole time you're waiting for him to show up.
was
Because
waiting for
we
him to
get
show
Arnold
up.
as leader of the biker mice. He voices the main mice.
Oh, dude, I had all those toys.
It's
There's a rumor going around
time
that,
to ride.
It's time to ride.
There's a rumor going around that Ryan Reynolds is redoing that.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, Biker Mice from Mars.
It's gonna suck if he does it.
I don't know if it's gonna be like a cartoon though.
Who, Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah,
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds.
But here's the thing.
Cartoon?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be live action or cartoon.
I know we're talking about Ghost of Mars, and Reynolds has nothing to do with this, but since he's come up, and I'm sick of him being in things, I have to say something about Ryan Reynolds. If it's not a Deadpool movie, have you noticed that he hasn't made for 10 years? Every movie he's been in is crap.
Well, I like that Project Adam that he just did on Netflix.
That movie blew.
Really? I enjoyed that.
Everything he touches turns to crap if it's not Deadpool. And he keeps getting jobs. And I know the guy's a
it's not
billionaire.
ripped.
He's a billionaire because he's, does his aviation gin and his cell phone company that went crazy and all this stuff. And good
Doesn't
for
he own
him.
a bank too?
He owns all kinds of stuff. Very smart businessman.
Yeah.
But I don't want him to remake Bikers of
Biker Mice from Mars.
Because it's going to suck. Let him play Deadpool and go spend your billions of dollars that you've made on all your business ventures. But just stay out of the things that I care about.
I guess I disagree with you. I enjoy him. I enjoyed watching.
Everybody
his last few
enjoys
movies.
his sense of humor, which is very cutting and sarcastic. and it works perfectly in Deadpool, but he does that in everything.
That's the
even
problem.
things that aren't supposed
It's too
to
much.
be Deadpool.
It's too saturated.
That was like the problem with Green Lantern
Yeah.
was that he was not good as Hal Jordan.
No.
He was really good in Smoking Aces.
Yeah.
Yeah. One was Smoking Aces.
2007.
2007.
Keith Eggleston wants to see Arnold as the demon leader guy, Big Daddy Mars.
Oh,
That
man.
would be amazing,
That'd be something.
right? I don't know if you can get. I mean,
How would that go, James? About the same.
yeah, about the same as it already did. That's the problem. Is that you already got a ripped guy with a bunch of makeup on, and you probably wouldn't really be able to even tell or know that it was him. And I think the guy did an awesome job, but I think it's obvious that Arnold makes the movie better because the movie desperately needed somebody like that it was missing that big charismatic lead that could have done something, because it wasn't Natasha. She didn't have any charisma in this movie. She was as flat as a board, acting and tone wise. And Statham wasn't given enough to do in his part. And Ice Cube was miscast as Desolation Williams. So
I just don't think the screenplay had it in it.
yeah,
That was
and the screenplay doesn't.
The
have it in
screenplay
it.
didn't have it in it. It's not
But
so
sometimes
much.
you get the right person and they can elevate it.
Well, I was gonna say, but it's not like you could have taken Desolation and Ice Cube, and you could have elevated it with a better screenplay, or even Melanie Ballard, for example.
Yeah.
I think Natasha Henstridge could have been great as Melanie Ballard if she had the dialogue to go with it.
Yeah.
But
Well, let's get on to our most prestigious award that we give out. It's the award we give to the actor that had the most intensity, that was most sold out for their role and saying, it's dumb, but I'm going for it. It's the Will Patton Award for intensity.
You want a war? I'll give you a war!
I don't want them to gain another yard.
You blitz all night! And if they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm gonna take every last one of you out. You make sure
They remember forever the night they played the Titans. What are you doing with a gun in space?
All right.
I asked that question many times during this movie.
what are they doing with guns in space?
So it fits. Farrell, we're going to start with you. Who's your nominee?
Richard Citrone.
Richard Citrone.
All the way.
Big Daddy Mars.
All the way.
Is that the bad guy?
You really liked him, huh? Yeah.
Main bad guy shows up. Yeah, sure. Couldn't say a word of English. That's the point of the character, is just to be this overly intense, crazy, decapitating force. I give it to him.
All right.
Brought it. Loved him.
I think it's fair.
Big Daddy Mars is an underrated villain.
Keith went Ice Cube was perfect as the hard ass that secretly was a good dude, which is kind of like describing most of his roles. I would agree with Keith there. But Keith thought Ice Cube brought it in this movie. So let's vote for Ice Cube as we go over to Kurt.
I like the bad guy thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Richard Citrone.
I enjoyed him. I think he's basically what made the movie. So
Yeah.
out of to make it at least watchable.
Perfect. Marco goes, look, Robert. Who is it? Robert Carradine?
He gave it to Robert Carradine?
Robert Carradine. Sorry.
That's
He's
the
got a B in here.
second. That's the
Let me say it. Let me start
second.
it over. Though. Hang on.
Sure.
I don't want to say it wrong. So Marco gives his Will Patton to Robert Carradine as Rodale.
Rodale.
It's if his only instruction was to scream like a madman every scene, boy, he did that and then some. Fair play. So yeah, all right. You said it was a second. What were you gonna say?
Robert Carradine is the second train guy.
Oh, the second train.
The guy that walks in and says, "Here's your coffee, Mr. McSims."
He gave the Will Patton Award to him.
I think Marco might be confused.
Marco.
I think he's trying to say Richard Citrone.
Maybe Richard Citrone.
Because he
think-
did say screaming like a madman.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna say that was another vote for Richard Citrone because Robert Carradine was in the movie.
Robert Carradine is the second train conductor.
Gotcha. All right.
Yes.
But I think I know what you meant, Marco. So yeah, no worries there, buddy. For me, I'm actually giving this to Richard Citrone as well because I thought he
That's where you're going, huh?
was the only one that brought any kind of intensity to this movie. And so it's like, yeah, I don't want to give it to him just by default. I thought he also did a good job, but yeah, not a lot to pick from here. Josh Whitehouse goes, look, between him and Statham, it's Ice Cube. They were the only actors in the movie that actually seemed to be having any kind of fun with their roles. At least Ice Cube seemed to try to act a little and not just sludge his way through the movie. My God, though, what a terrible name for a character. Desolation. Yeah, awful. I hated the name. You like the name?
I love the
Desolation
name. I love the name Desolation Williams.
I think it's lame.
Yeah. It's no Snake Plissken, but
No, it's not even close.
no. whatever. I love the name Desolation Williams.
Bob, who do you give your nomination to for Will Patton?
The Ghosts of Mars.
You want to know something too?
The Mist. Persistent. Penetrable.
All those things.
Except for metal doors.
And when somebody just says no.
Yeah. You
No.
Bad Mist.
When they enter blondes, they're immediately vomited out.
Richard Citron gets a vote from Jason Ryan, too. He says, look, he looked badass. The costumes for the ghosts were one of my favorite things about the movie. I think he played the role very well. And if this had been a better movie, could have went down as one of the all-time best movie villains.
Ooh.
And so that means that it's not even close. Richard Citron is going to win the Will Patton Award.
Rightfully deserved.
For intensity.
Thank you, Richard Citron.
There we go.
And his acceptance speech would be, rah, 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 rah.
Come on, get
And thank you for the best Batman fights ever.
Yes, dude, that was fantastic.
No, that's awesome. I've always loved Big Daddy Mars as a villain.
Nice.
Always. So yeah.
The next award
leaps and bounds
we give out is to the worst actor in the movie, the one that basically had the acting range of a trash can full of dirt, aka Steven Seagal. It's the Steven Seagal Trash Can Full of Dirt Award.
Trash can, oh trash can, it's a trash can full of dirt, yeah.
Love never dies, and neither do they.
I hate you.
Love is eternal, and that's a long time.
All right.
This
Ryan,
movie was a long time.
who gave the worst acting performance in the movie?
easily Rosemary Forsyth as the head table inquisitor.
All she had to do was sit there.
Hence being a trash can full of dirt. It would have been more entertaining if it was just a talking trash can at Melanie.
For this, you'll pay a terrible price.
It's like she walks in and she's like, "Okay, everybody, take your seats, please."
Yeah.
Okay, so last Friday we had this going on and we had this going on. All she does is look left, look right, look left, speak words, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. What happened? And then, like you said, at the end of the movie, after Melanie has told this entire story of rebellious, revolting miners possessed by Martian ghosts, and her look of like, and that's it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do you want me to say?
Yeah. That was horrible. Horrible.
Couldn't stand her character. I hate the Inquisitor.
How do you really feel?
Oh, you know
Don't tell
it.
me. I don't actually care. Jason Ryan came in with Natasha Henstridge for Lieutenant Ballard. My God, an awful character. She couldn't be less of an authority figure if she tried. No one in the group took her seriously. Not only did she lead them to safety, but forced them to go back and ended up getting them all killed. Yes. Thank you, Jason. Thank you.
It was the screenplay's fault. It wasn't Natasha's fault.
But her character was awful.
Melanie was kind of dumb.
Yeah, she was.
I mean, she was a good cop, but she was kind of dumb in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kurt, who's your nomination for the worst actor in the movie?
I'm going with Berkshire blonde lady. What's her name?
Natasha Henstridge?
No, the other one.
Joe
the one
Cassidy.
that gets her head cut off.
Clea Duvall?
I don't know.
The rookie cop?
Yeah, the rookie cop. Is that her name?
Bashira. Clea Duvall.
Yeah.
Clea Duvall as Bashira Kincaid. All right, Kurt.
It was awful.
She was bad.
She was so bad. And how funny would it have been to see the trash can going around with all of them through all of this?
Dragging on a wagon.
Yeah, just on a radio flyer. And then you see the disc come in and just go, bing, knock the lid off of the trash can. It would have been hilarious.
Been great. Marco goes Clea Duvall as Bashira.
There you go.
The character caused just about every problem the group encountered with zero emotion from Clea. And I'm pretty sure she was holding a walkie-talkie upside down in one scene.
Yes.
She was on an antenna, guys. All right.
Look at you defending. You're defending everybody.
She was on
you
an
love this
antenna.
movie.
He's so
you
bad.
love this movie.
She was, have you ever held a walkie-talkie on an antenna?
No.
It's hard.
I talk on phones. I don't live in Mars from
hard.
2176.
All right, guys.
All right. Here's who I'm going with. Natasha Henstridge. And look, everybody was bad. Everybody was bad. And I almost didn't want to give it to her because Carpenter wanted to take the L for her and say, oh, it was my fault. But she's also a professional.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good. And I like her and other things.
No, that's fair.
But not in this.
It's kind of like
bad.
It's like the same like how I went with Ben Affleck with Daredevil.
Right.
Like he was just exhausted at that point in his career.
Right.
Like, yeah, it is what it is.
was
You said
rough.
yes. You
Yeah,
said
that's
yes and
just
you
it.
did terrible.
And so here we got a Pam Grier vote from Keith Helgelson.
Ooh.
Just awful. A turd in a bowl of mediocrity.
I mean, once again, yeah, her little expo dump at the very beginning when she's like, all right, I know you're some pretty tough hombres.
Yeah.
But we're picking up Desolation Williams.
Yeah.
Like, it's not good.
It's bad.
It's not good.
So I think we got a tie as of right now with a couple more people to go. We got, I think, 2 votes for Natasha, 2 votes for Clea.
2 for
Duvall.
Clea, 2 for
And,
Natasha.
1 for Pam and 1 for your person,
Rosemary.
As we go to Bob. Bob, who is your nominee for the trash can?
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube.
All right,
Takes a
let's
shot
hear it.
out of nowhere.
Let's hear it.
What was it about his performance you hated?
He had the emotional range of a cat.
Perfect. And so what else?
There
needs
were
to
a
be
lot
said?
of things that he just kind of would speak of.
He just showed up.
you know.
It's not. I like
Yeah.
Ice Cube as a individual. He just showed up on this set.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Yeah.
He's just leaning against the wall like, I'm getting paid. My fro's getting big. I'm getting paid. Gold chains are in the mail.
That's right. And chromed out guns. You're going to let me
Chromed
take
out
one
guns.
home. That's right.
I just got casted in XXX2.
I still haven't seen those movies. All right. Here, Josh Whitehouse says Natasha Henstridge.
Oh, boy.
Wooden, lifeless, and just plain bad. There's a reason why her biggest roles were in the Species movies, because she didn't have to say anything or do anything. Just show up, be a stoic, plain actress, transform into an alien. At least there it was cool and fun. Here it's just plain trash. So that's a 3rd vote, but that ultimately means that Natasha Henstridge is going to win the Trash Can Full of Dirt award. What do you mean? Oh, she was terrible in this.
I'm not saying she was good, but there were worse. I like Melanie. I love
would.
Melanie Ballard. Come on.
The next award that we give out is the Unsung Hero Award. So who is a character in a smaller role that really improved the movie just by being in it? Because there are no small roles, just small actors. It's the Steve James Unsung Hero Award.
You know, every place you go, there's always someone who thinks he's a badass, right? Then there are those few who are. Are you some kind of a badass karate boy?
All right, Ryan. Who was your nominee?
Liam Waite as Michael Descanso.
Oh, Descanso. I knew you were going to do that.
Come on. I wish that Bashir had died instead of him.
Oh, my gosh. They both died.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm saying, like, he died in that first battle.
You wish that she died
I wish
first.
she died first.
Got it.
But then no one would have been around to screw up the rest of the movie.
He had a heroic,
He did. He knew what he was doing. He could look. He beat Jason Statham at cards.
Yeah.
When they got to the wreck vac, he at least knew to like clear the area and run through this field of decapitated hanging bodies.
Yeah.
He knew how to gunfight. He knew how to melee.
I bet if there's doors that needed to be open, he could have done that better.
He knew how to throw detonators.
than that guy the guy from Resident Evil.
Open the door!
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Open the door. Yeah.
He probably could have done that better,
Can't
too.
even remember his name now. Dude, I wish, I would have taken Descanso over Sergeant Jericho, too.
Over Statham?
Yeah, because Statham sucked. His character was annoying.
I don't know about that.
All he did was like, hey, what's up, Melanie?
Jason Ryan, no worries, buddy. I know he in his final rating, he also said learning from his mistakes in his last one, but he made another one here. He gives his unsung hero to Ice Cube, who's like the main character along with Natasha Henstridge. Unsung hero's got to be for a small part. Without him, he goes, but here's what he said. Ice Cube, without him, the group really doesn't have a chance. He's the leader that Lieutenant Ballard is trying to be. If they hadn't teamed up, there was no way anyone was getting out alive. So that's a vote for Ice Cube as we go over to Kurt.
Can I give mine to the guy that ran over Courtney Love's foot?
No, he's got to be an
because you imagine if she was in this movie, how awful it would be.
That man is a hero.
He's a hero. He's definitely a hero.
But not an unsung
that
hero
man
in this
saved
movie.
Ghosts of Mars.
He helped Ghost
Saved
of Mars.
it from what? It's all right.
Being worse than it was.
Fine.
I'm going to go opposite of Ryan. I'm going to go with Jason Statham.
Jason Statham.
I mean, why not choose for him to be the main guy?
Also, just as big a part as Ice Cube
I mean,
in this movie.
he would have been amazing if they would have let him just be who he was. I mean,
but he's way too big of a part to be the unsung hero.
Oh, come on.
You think so?
It's for small parts in the movie. Yes, he's in it just as much as Ice Cube is.
He is. Yeah, Jericho's the third.
Okay.
He's the third lead.
That's fine. We'll come back to you. All right. Marco goes, Dwayne Davis as Uno.
Yes.
A small part of it brought so much more personality than most of the other actors. And I actually also went Dwayne Davis as Uno.
That's a good call.
Second vote. I mean, he wasn't in there a ton, but I thought, just like what
The
Marco
guy that
said.
looked like Roadblock from G.I. Joe?
Personality, yes.
Yes.
I bet he at least had some personality
He
and
did.
some
No,
funny stuff.
Dwayne Davis is right there with. I really like his little.
I'll
his
jump
little
on
part.
that train.
All right,
Yeah.
Dwayne Davis.
I'll have my vote go for him.
For Uno, sweet. Keith Eggleston goes, Joanna Cassidy as Whitlock. Her only job was to deliver information, and she delivered it well. I mean, I like her in other things, for sure, Keith. I don't know about this one, but I respect it.
Yeah,
Bob, who's your unsung hero? Who was good in a small part?
Dose.
Lobo Sebastian.
Cut his own thumb off and kept vaping.
Just like Bob Hauser would. That's perfect. Josh Whitehouse goes, look, Jason Statham, again, guys, too big. Pretty simple. Statham being Statham did an okay job. All right. But that ultimately means that Dwayne Davis is going to win the Unsung Hero Award.
That's awesome.
Yes. All right. It's time to climb BMR Mountain.
Oh, boy.
As we do when we've had an actor that has appeared in multiple BMR movies, we want to see how far up the mountain they've climbed. If BMR is, piling up these movies, lots and lots of movies, which one has been their peak so far as they've appeared? And so Pam Grier has had her third BMR movie here.
Really?
She previously appeared in Vindicator and Escape from LA, and now Ghosts of Mars. Now, if any of you, I would be surprised if anybody's seen Vindicator.
Nope.
Has anybody seen Vindicator?
No, I have not.
Okay. Check out Vindicator. It's actually a pretty great RoboCop movie from Canada. Came out in the 80s. So let's just make it between Escape from LA and Ghosts of Mars, because Vindicator is way better. Her performance in that is way better than either of these movies. So I'm going to go ahead and say Vindicator, as of yet, is Pam Grier's peak on Bad Movies Rule. But out of her performances,
So what's her second?
Which one is better between Ghosts of Mars and Escape from LA?
Easily Escape from LA.
Yeah.
Where she plays a dude?
Where she actually
acts.
Where she actually acts. Yes.
She goes for it and Escape from LA.
She's in it about the same amount of time.
Yeah, more or less, because she just shows up at the end.
Right, and this one, she's just in there at the beginning.
No, but she's great in Escape. Her character is great in Escape from LA.
Carjack Malone.
Carjack Malone.
And after, because the whole movie, they kind of have this, slight buildup as to who it is.
Right.
And it's like, all right, here we go. Carjack Malone is Pam Grier.
I agree with you guys. So I think for me, it goes Vindicator, Escape from LA, and then Ghosts of Mars. And I think every movie that comes on for her after this will continue to just
file above
Ghosts of Mars. Will just
For
continue
Pam
to
Grier?
get pushed off the mountain. Yes.
Ghosts of Mars for Pam Grier is a very, very low point.
Yeah, she fell off the mountain and ended up back at the porta potties.
Right.
She had a moment here, though, like a comeback moment because of Jackie Brown. But she was doing a ton of movies in the 70s, 80s, and then she wasn't really doing much of anything that was big budget or theatrically released for a while.
Right.
Until Jackie Brown in 99.
Yep.
And then she started getting cast again in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So
she's awesome. Pam Grier's great.
Pam Grier's great.
Oh, yeah.
This wasn't it.
No, this was not it. I mean, even looking at Jackie Brown, where she almost was nominated for an Oscar for Jackie Brown, to now Ghosts of Mars, where she didn't. I feel like she did it as a favor to John Carpenter.
And maybe she did. I don't know, but they're obviously friends. They did Escape from LA together.
Sure.
So we've come to the point in the show, guys, where we have to render our final verdicts.
Yes.
There's been lots of consternation about the movie, its quality. The critics and the audiences seem to have agreed. But do we agree? Do our panelists agree? Hell, 25% of the audience likes it, and there's 4 of us here.
Let's see what happens.
Ryan Farrell, you have the floor. What are your final thoughts on Ghosts of Mars?
My final thoughts.
4 hours later.
Movie. And here's the thing. We all watch a movie with your father, right? Such a special thing.
Yeah.
My dad, who the reason I love film is because of my dad. When this movie came out and I said, Dad, it's a new John Carpenter movie. And my dad loves John Carpenter. He's like, yeah, let's watch it, son. And we sat and watched it. And my dad was like, this is a piece of crap. And I was like, but Dad, it's a John Carpenter movie. And he was like, no. Halloween, Big Trouble in Little China, The Fog, and The Thing are John Carpenter movies.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen any of them at the time. This was the first John Carpenter movie I ever saw.
Wow.
This is one of the greatest bad movies of all time.
So you're saying this is one of the greatest bad movies?
This is one of the greatest bad movies of all time.
Hold on. Because that's on the mountain.
Yes.
With Street Fighter.
Yes.
And
yes.
You're putting Ghost of Mars.
Yes.
On the mountain with Raul Julia.
I love this freaking movie, everybody.
Okay.
I love this movie so much. Wow. It is on my top 10 for 2001. I would rather watch this than most other bad movies.
As much as I disagree with you, I feel what you're talking about.
Thank you.
Because that's why I love GPK. That's why I love Howard the Duck. They're movies that my dad introduced me to.
Yes.
And there's a bond there that no one else can take from you. But I disagree.
Even watching this movie last night.
But you're wrong.
I saw this movie a bunch in 2001 and 2002. My friends and I quoted it all summer.
It's a weird flex, but okay.
He's passionate. You're just kicking him in the nuts, man.
Breaking out the DVD last night, watching it last night, the first time I've seen this movie in 15 years. The score just kicks. I love the music for this movie.
I don't hate the music.
The production design sucks, and it's very obvious. The behind the scenes, if you watch Red Desert Nights, which is like the making of Diary, you can see that John Carpenter had virtually no energy making this movie. But you want to know what? The stunt guys freaking brought it. Yeah. Jeff Imada and the stunt crew for this movie freaking brought it. Watching the Martians do all their crazy stuff, getting blown through hallways, the stupidness of the cops, yeah, sure. But even then, back to the thing of like, they're just literally just blowing people away. There's no like, oh, what's like now it's like, oh, what's the use of force continuum? Oh, let's not kill bad guys. Like, nope, let's just shoot them. Boom. I love Ghost of Mars. I think it's one of the greatest bad movies of all time.
All right. Okay.
So bad movie that rules.
Bad movie that rules so hard.
Okay. I respect it. Here we go with Jason Ryan said, learning from my mistake on Lost World. Apologies, it was my first time. I'm planting my flag and saying this is a bad movie. Between the story and all the flashbacks, it's hard to keep up and know what's going on with a director like John Carpenter and guys like Statham, Henstridge, and Ice Cube. You would expect this to be a lot better. This is labeled a sci-fi movie, yet a lot of it would remind you of an old Western. So Jason Ryan says bad movie.
That's exactly what John Carpenter was making, though.
Yeah.
Was an old space Western.
An old space Western.
With nothing
that makes it good.
Nothing given about the laws of physics. No thought about the science.
Yeah.
Let's just have guns on Mars.
Respect. Kurt, what you have the floor. What are your thoughts?
So I really wanted to like this movie. It was my first time watching it. I thought like there was a moment where when you're sitting through the movie, you're like, when is this going to get when is it going to start kicking?
Yeah.
And I feel like it never gets you there. There's always a point at which, I guess the best way I could compare it to is like, when you guys are doing a video game, you guys brought up Mass Effect a couple of times.
Yeah.
So when you have to walk through and do quests, so you meet somebody and then they're like, well, you need to go do this.
They're just standing there waiting for you to talk to them.
Yeah, so now you got to go do this quest. And then, now in order for, and I felt like that's what was happening through this whole movie. And there was never any sort of reward. And so, as far as seeing a John Carpenter movie, as far as seeing a John Carpenter movie, I was excited to want to see this. And I thought it was going to be amazing. And I felt like I was so let down by the end that I'm like, that went nowhere. I felt like we were just watching these series of events that could have been done so much better. I mean, look at Mad Max. Mad Max, this has a Mad Max feel. There's almost the guy's gonna get it. There's this, euphoric utopia where it's a desolate island of all these misfits and crazy beings, and you're like, man, this is gonna be great. And it just never happens. Yeah. So ultimately, it's a bad movie.
Yeah,
it's a bad movie for me. It let me down, and I'm never gonna watch this again.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I respect it. Marco says, look, so much I like in this film. Been a huge fan of Natasha Henstridge since seeing Species as a teenager. You know what I mean. Ice Cube, Statham,
we all know what you mean.
And Pam Grier, all actors I liked in other films. John Carpenter's great, as are the musicians Buckethead, Anthrax, and Robin Fink. I'm a fan of all these people, but none of them in this film very little works, especially the directing. It was all over the place. So straight up bad movie. It's the third straight up bad movie vote from Marco. Here's what I'll say. John Carpenter is worth all the respect and deserves all the respect that is possibly given to a person, to a filmmaker, because of his incredible career. The man made Halloween. He made The Thing, which you could say Aliens maybe is even a takeoff of The Thing, and then this is a ripoff of Aliens in a way. But you've also got, Big Trouble in Little China, They Live, Escape from New York. So he deserves respect.
Starman.
I don't want to crap on Carpenter here too badly, but this movie is so terrible. It makes me sad that it's on John Carpenter's filmography. It makes me depressed. It's clearly made by somebody whose heart isn't in it. It's clearly made by somebody who has given up, who hates the studio system so much that he just was like, whatever, phoned it in, literally admitted that he was like trying to get to a basketball game, and so not even really directing the actors and stuff. And he got what he deserved here. Ultimately, is he didn't try, he didn't care, whether it was for good reason or not, because Hollywood's pissed him off too many times, is debatable, and that's fine. It was good reason, but when you put nothing in, you get nothing out, and he got exactly what he ended up with because of that, which is a piece of crap movie that I hate. You're right, Kurt. There is no reward. The only reward is that when the movie is over, that you get to be done with it. Right. That's the only reward. Thank God it has an ending. He deserves all the respect in the world. But you got to hang this one at his feet. It sucks.
You do got to hang it at his feet. Because like I said, you could tell that everyone else loved working on it except for him.
Yeah. And there are moments that I enjoyed. I love the stunt work. I like Richard Citron. There are aspects I like.
Even the story could have been great.
Yeah. But there's just not enough for me to ever say, I want to watch this again. That's all.
Huh.
Keith Hegelson said, look, a bad movie that rules. Here we go. We got another rules.
That's great.
It was a fun watch, an interesting idea, but they missed the mark, particularly in the dialogue department. Yeah, Keith, couldn't agree more. Won't seek it out again, but won't turn it off if it's on. So bad movie that rules. Maybe not as emphatically as your bad movie that rules, but still a bad movie that rules for Keith. Bob, you have the floor. What are your thoughts about Ghosts of Mars?
I compare it to a very bad blowjob.
Okay. Okay.
You want to know what's funny? I've said this before too.
Oh, really?
Yes. About The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Because it gets old and it shrinks out of existence?
The show's over. It's like, can't go anywhere from there.
Only you, Ryan, would compare that to the freaking Curious Case of Benjamin Button. The hell happens in your house?
Well,
You literally said what I said in 2008. As I left the theater seeing Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
That's like the 40-year-old virgin saying it's like a bag of sand, right?
oh my God.
I know what you mean.
That's what it felt like to me. It was just, it kept building, and then she's like, I'm going to go to the store. You're
Exactly.
Like,
But then there's just...
Someone's going to say it's a bad movie, full stop.
Bad movie, full stop.
Yeah. I tried. I tried to like it. There's parts of it I like, but like I think Richard Citron and the stunt team, and I'm just like, I don't think I'll ever turn this on again.
Man.
I'm sorry, man.
Man. That's
Yeah,
all right.
and Josh Whitehouse, the Hammer brings us home, says bad movie, full stop.
No. Come
The
on, guys.
action, bad. The music, bad. The
Wrong.
acting, bad.
Okay.
Way too many springboard and flashback sequences. Just a boring, not fun, dumb movie from an excellent director. My God, what was he thinking? Nobody knows, Josh. Nobody knows.
I think the problem...
Still trying to figure out how Benjamin Button's in this film.
I don't know.
I think the problem is the cross dissolves.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It really draws the energy out of you.
Ultimately, guys, I think that was, 6 bad to 2 bad movies that rule.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty emphatic bad movie there. But that doesn't mean there wasn't the journey wasn't enjoyable.
Come on.
Right?
We got to lobby Shout Factory to do a 4K remaster
No, we
of
don't.
this.
Don't do that.
Please. Come on, everyone.
Nope, don't listen to it.
Go to Shout Factory.
Go
Go
do
to
something
Shout
else.
Factory and
Nope.
vote for Ghosts of Mars 4K Dolby Vision remaster.
Go do something else with your time.
I think GPK should come back
Listeners.
out.
Nope,
That movie is
also
expensive.
not true. All right. It's time to talk about what's coming up next week, which means we need to wake up the BMR supercomputer DH9K to tell us what's going on. So, DH9K, are you awake?
Hello, my name is DH9K and I am ready for query.
Hello, DH9K. Bob, you haven't had a chance to meet her yet.
What in the holy Sam hell is this?
I know you've been out for a little bit. She has become sentient and fully self-aware.
Thanks to Madla.
Thanks to Madla, who called her a random number generator, and it pissed her off.
DH9K.
DH9K is our supercomputer that picks the movies at random for us to watch.
She
You
sounds
should ask her a question.
Yeah. I mean, she generally only answers yes or no questions.
okay.
Yeah.
Do you have boobs?
Yes.
What?
Wow. Wow.
Only Bob.
Love
Is this like
We would have never found that out if he
is
had
this like Jason X?
No.
Oh. All right, fair enough.
So, DH9K, you'd be happy to know that Ryan Farrell is here.
Hello, Ryan Farrell. I'm glad you're here. Don't ever leave me again.
Oh.
What's going on here?
I know.
Does Steph know about this?
She does.
She
found
does.
out on the last step.
Oh.
She does, because DH9K has a thing for me.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. she got a crush on it.
GH9K, do you like Christopher Nolan movies?
No.
Oh.
All right, I'm done.
DH9K. Don't. Oh.
Come
I'm never
on.
going to speak to her again.
What? Don't do that.
DH9K. I got nothing.
DH9K,
Go ahead.
can you...
DH9K, have you ever experienced me before?
Will you cry when you're subjugated and changing my oil?
Whoa. Okay. All right. Chill out there. Chill
Sounds
out.
like she's got the hots for Bob now. Quick to change there.
You guys have to make up. I can't have you guys fighting. It's going to ruin the show. You know, like when there's 2 coworkers that date and then they break up,
Yeah,
and then it
it's-
makes it awkward for everybody.
It's super awkward,
I
especially
feel very awkward,
especially
right?
when coworkers have affairs with other coworkers.
That's what I'm saying.
DH9K, would you make me tacos?
I'm your huckleberry.
Oh, she loves Tombstone.
Yeah, I guess so.
Love this.
Wow.
I guess so.
I love DH9K.
She's awesome.
I'm going to call her. What's her DH9K?
DH9K.
I got nothing.
DH9K, what are we going to be watching next week?
Next week you will watch Missing in Action, starring Chuck Norris. My humor heuristics need fine-tuning. Insert obligatory Chuck Norris joke here.
Oh, she can't come up with one on her
wow.
own.
How about that?
Yeah.
She couldn't do it, huh?
Chuck Norris was born in a log cabin he built with his bare hands. There you go, DH9K. I got you.
Ha, ha, ha. You are not funny.
Okay. All right, great. She's so
Man,
mean
she's,
sometimes.
she's just
She didn't like
mean
you.
today.
It's ridiculous.
Coming
DH9K,
at
do you have
people.
blonde hair?
No.
Mohawk.
No.
Do you shave?
No.
Damn it.
Grizzly bear.
I don't think
We're
she's-
learning all kinds of things.
DH9K,
Yeah.
do you have a fupa?
No.
Thank God.
Jeez Louise.
All right, Ryan. Hopefully, you guys will be able to make up. in
Maybe
the
we'll see.
future.
We'll see what the future holds.
She hasn't been exposed to any Christopher Nolan yet.
DH9K.
Maybe she wants you to.
Yeah.
DH9K, do you want Ryan Farrell to show you some good Christopher Nolan movies?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Maybe she
She's,
wants.
she's just waiting to watch him with
Maybe
you.
she wants a little
So-
wine and dine.
One of these nights, me and DH9K can just sit down and maybe really delve into the filmography of
I
Christopher
think
Nolan.
so.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. She's down with that, huh?
DH9K, do you like tiny hands?
Yes.
Oh,
You're in there, Ryan.
you are in, buddy. You are in. You are ready to go.
All right.
DH9K. I'm having fun with this. This is awesome. DH9K.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give Ryan Farrell a colonoscopy?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't think she had the ability.
She has the ability to do that.
He's got to hook up her servos to a, a
Yeah,
ring,
yeah.
like a ring camera or whatever to get it shoot it up there.
Oh, ring camera.
a ring camera.
Ding, ding.
Yeah.
Hello, I am DH9K. Ready for query.
All right, perfect. So DH9K, thank you for letting us know about Missing in Action and for picking another Chuck Norris movie. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, take care.
Yes.
All right, guys. So Missing in Action. That's like maybe the first Chuck Norris movie I ever saw back in the day.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Braddock, right?
Yeah.
Braddock.
Let's go.
Never seen that one.
It's gonna be
Colonel
fun.
James Braddock.
Coming in next week, and Joe's going to be here. Bob's going to be here. I don't remember who the other person is, but somebody else will be in here.
Don't know who the other
I don't. I can't. I can only ever remember a couple people.
Did the
I always-
schedule get put out?
No, I'm putting it out today.
Oh,
actually.
see?
So
Hey, here we
yeah.
go.
But Bob, I already warned Bob about next week, so he knew about it.
Missing in Action.
Missing in Action, and we'll leave you guys with that. And just want to say thanks to Ryan Farrell, and sorry that everybody crapped on your favorite movie of all
Hey,
time.
at least you planted your flag.
That's right, which I respect.
I mean,
And-
what was the percentage? We had 2 to 6.
Yep, you
So
were
it's
the
just about
24% that liked it.
2 out of 8, yeah.
Yeah.
2 out of 8. So Kurt Bummer, thank
Hey.
you, the machine punter.
So glad to be here.
Love every time you're on the show, and the Manimal Bob Hauser, always bringing that manimal energy. I appreciate you. man.
Yep.
So thank you guys at home for listening, and we hope you guys have a good one, and we will catch you on the next one. It came on the wind. Yeah, they was living in a puddle. They were little aliens, and then the puddle went away, and then they came to life. They came to get them down the wind from the train tracks. They're gonna eat you up alive.
Don't inhale that dust.
Get us, rah, 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 rah.
You guys are saying it wrong.
How's it go?
It's Karloka Loka.
Which means
Which means the Curious Case of Benjamin Button was really good.